Anderson hits it in the air to right, back at the wall, and the White Sox win it!
Selection of the 2013 first-year player draft, the Chicago White Sox select Tim Anderson,
Jacob Gonzalez, Noah Schultz, Colson, Montgomery, Garrett, Crochet.
No, and if I had it my way, I'd keep you all to myself. It's probably selfish. Yeah, I've been hell-bent. I'm just passing time until you got my attention. Much more than friendship, we doing this again now. You must go sleep. Get what you came for. You know you got me, baby. You giving all the signs. My heart be stopping, baby, like every single time. So please don't break it in half. Promise I'll play nice. Pass the choice to me. Oh, you pass the choice to me. Back to back from the bases, let's face it. Come back one more time just to taste it. On me, got complacent. On me, time I wasted. On me, last time we talked, I think it's something I can sing on mission. Yeah, you were born to lie. Your poison soaked into my roots, you're just like herbicide. Baby, you took me to the brink, I'm still afraid to die. Now you're allergic to my corneas, like who am I? I don't know. Just do what I say to. No, and if I had it my way, I'd keep you all to myself. It's probably selfish. Yeah, I've been hell-bent. I'm just passing time until you got my attention. Much more than friendship, we doing this again now. Get what you came for. You know you got me. My heart be stopping like every single time. So please don't break it in half. Promise I'll play nice.
Welcome to the Chicago White Sox draft only rebuild. Now, to get us started, I'm going to talk about a little bit of a caveat before we really get into a full introduction and everything. And that's that I want you to know right away, this isn't going to be like other draft-only rebuilds that you see and I've seen in MLB The Show. One of the reasons for this is because, as this is my White Sox rebuild, I also don't want to, I guess, restrict White Sox fans from seeing some of their core players that they're excited about actually like develop and be talented. And so, just to get you an idea of what our restriction is going to be right away, going into this draft, this is a draft only rebuild, but what I mean by that is that the players that we are going to acquire can only have been drafted by the White Sox, whether that's me drafting them or in the past having been drafted by them. So looking at that roster, what does that mean? A little bit. Technically, international free agent signing, Luis Robert is fine, Garrett Crochet is fine, even some of the prospects like Colson Montgomery is fine, Jacob Gonzalez is fine. These are players that will still be a part of this team. But we will not have players like Yoan Moncada, who was originally signed by the Boston Red Sox. We will no longer be able to keep Edgar Quero, who was originally a Los Angeles Angel. Can't have Kopech, who was originally also a Boston Red Sox. Drew Thorpe, originally a Padre. Can't keep him either. So basically, just to get a quick glimpse of what we're doing, this is a draft-only rebuild where, for the foreseeable future, we are going to attempt to build a team that has 26 of 26 roster members drafted by the Chicago White Sox. That means that there will be no trade for players that end up on the roster at the end, and there will be no free agent signings for players that end up on the roster at the end, unless they are players that previously were drafted by the White Sox. Say Chris Sale, Dylan Cease, or Fernando Tatis. Obviously, Tatis never becomes a free agent in this, but I thought it'd be kind of cool as an idea. So the other thing that we are going to do in this to make this feel somewhat more realistic in the sense of what we're doing is that a lot of draft only rebuilds, you'll see a team drop down to a 0 overall. Well, we are still going to attempt to be competitive and yield large talent. And one of the reasons for this is the PPI prospect promotion incentive system. Our goal is going to be to acquire as many draft picks as possible. So we are going to do that by promoting prospects that are valuable and have the ability to end up getting us more draft picks. And also, we are going to be using the compensation that you get in free agency for letting a player get signed by another team. That might be Luis Robert. Whatever we can do to acquire the most draft picks to potentially add to this team is going to be an essential process that we are going to use to develop our roster. This also means that for the next several seasons, I'm going to be yielding a team that does not fit the requirements of our roster or of our final roster. So pitching rotation right now, I'm still yielding this team. Fetty, Clevenger, Thorpe, Flexen, these players are still going to stay, but at the long term, are they going to be re-signed? Is Fetty going to be re-signed when he gets when he becomes a free agent? No. Is Clevenger going to be re-signed? Is Thorpe going to be re-signed? No, none of them will be. The other part is that I will likely trade valuable assets to teams that have prospects to acquire players on this PPI list, just so that we can get more picks, and then we will trade them away after we have acquired the draft picks for them. So say there's a very good defensive prospect who could possibly get us a gold glove and a PPI pick from that gold glove. We are going to trade for them, and we are going to do what we can to acquire that pick. So this essentially is going to take a lot longer than a general rebuild or than a normal draft only rebuild. We will focus heavily on the draft picks, and the only things I might show you is when we end up making a trade for a player that has that PPI, or showing in free agency us letting a guy walk to get that pick. Another part of this, just to kind of get the idea of why we're choosing the White Sox specifically, is that the White Sox, I feel like, are a team that perfectly represent a rebuild gone wrong with the last team that they built. Like, consider the roster that they fielded in the 2020s and 2021 when they looked really, really good. You had Tim Anderson, a prospect they drafted, Luis Robert, a prospect that they signed for international free agent, Eloy Jimenez, a prospect they signed, Yohan Moncada, they had Jose Abreu, another one, like young core pieces who they signed to these long-term deals, who basically they got on cheap, valuable contracts for power hitters, for good pitching, for all of this. And if this sounds like an interesting, good, valuable team, it's because it is. It's the exact same thing that the Braves did. The only problem is for the White Sox, injuries came along, players no longer reached their potential, and poor management and I guess Tony La Russa caused a significant amount of issues where they ended up not being able to fulfill that potential. And I think the saddest part about that is when you look at, and I have to go quick to show the Marlins because he's not here anymore, but the essential piece to this team was, oh, is he not on the Marlins? Okay. I apologize. I forgot where Tim Anderson is. Okay, they haven't moved to second base for the Marlins, so never mind. But anyways, the sad thing is that Tim Anderson, and now I got distracted by the fact that he wasn't a shortstop and ignored the value. But like, he regressed pretty hard after being one of the better players of that young core that they had. And this is a guy that I think is like essential to when you call the White Sox in this past, I guess, team and era of the White Sox. Tim Anderson is the face of that. baseball itself was, and I can say personally, a sport that I loved as a kid, loved a little bit in the 2010s and stuff. But then when Tim Anderson kind of spiked my love back of this, because I loved watching Tim Anderson. Interesting, not being a White Sox fan and liking a player that from that team. This guy is so much fun. It's sad to see him regress to a certain point. I do want to bring him back, and I might go in. This is a custom roster again, but I might go and adjust his potential just because I want him to be like a C potential so he could still be usable, just because I feel like it's just fun to have Tim Anderson around. So I might make a slight adjustment to him just to have him on the team for the first several years. But anyways, so because of that, because of this core, we want to try that again. They dealt with injuries, they dealt with poor management, they dealt with poor coaching, and we are not going to have those problems. Okay? Our goal instead is to succeed. We are going to do the same thing they did, but we're going to do it better. We're going to coach them up. We're going to develop our players. We're going to allow them to succeed, and we're going to hopefully keep them from getting hurt. So, the last part I want to show quick is I did add the interesting player right here, Eduardo Herrera. He is a third baseman. He was their international signing this past year. He's 17 years old. He's kind of a power bat. Interesting. I did add him to the roster. I thought that if you're like a baseball fan who really likes all that off-season process, this is a guy that could be really interesting to you. And so Eduardo Herrera will probably be our future third baseman if he succeeds at developing. So anyways, we have the 5th pick in the draft this season. We are going to go into this draft, and we are scouting and drafting on potential and fit for this team. We already have a few positions, and sadly, because of Lou Bob's 4-year contract, we're not going to get the pick back from him. So he's going to be around. We're not trading Luis Robert, but we're going to build around this team, build around Luis Robert, build around Garrett Crochet, build around Colson Montgomery, and hopefully build a World Series contending team in Chicago. I will see you at the draft. Nick Madrigal was drafted by the Chicago White Sox in the first round in 2018. So we're going to go get him right away to start off with this team, because I think we could develop a little bit more of him. And he's not going to develop sitting on the bench for the Cubs. So I'd rather have him develop actually playing in our lineup, because our team's bad. And so we're going to trade Corey Julks for him. Basically, they get a better player for Madrigal. So just to grab another guy that has some potential to be actually decent if we develop him. Cody Hoyer was also in that 2018 draft for the White Sox. And so we're going to trade the Rangers, our best relieving player, John Brebbia. I mean, we're not going to contend, and he's got an expiring deal, and we're not going to get a pick back from letting him walk. So if that's what it takes to get Cody Hoyer, that's what we're going to do. We are going to capitalize on the great production of Eric Fetty, who is not an original White Sox, as well as the 1.4 ERA coming from Michael Kopech right now. And we are going to trade for 2 guys who have PPI eligibility. Blake Mitchell, not this year, but probably next year, to be a catcher. And Drew Waters, who is a Gold Glove caliber center fielder with PPI eligibility. He's a player that could get us that extra draft pick. We are going to trade them. The Royals are in first place in the AL Central. And so we are going to do this just to get the most opportunities at PPI picks. And so then to clear up some space for Drew Waters, we're going to trade Tommy Pham, Jared Walsh, and Nicky Lopez, and basically take the contract of Robbie Ray to be our 5th pitcher for the next couple of years. This is, by no doubts, a horrible trade, but I don't really care, I guess. Starting the draft, I do want to just say I totally forgot about the whole trade thing with PPI guys, so I'm going to trade Drew Waters before the trade deadline for a guy that actually has value for me for PPI picks. So my bad on that. And it's you know, sometimes you're dumb and you're not thinking. Gaylord Tucker with the 1st overall pick. So we have pick 5. there's a ton of really, really good pitchers in this draft. However, as you know, and as I've said in the past, or as anybody who has done scouting, pitchers are so easy to find in this game. And so we are really going to put pitching very, very low on our priority list. And if I can get a position player instead for the top pick, which there's still one center fielder available that I really like, I'm going to let Oakland pick because we were pick 5. I'm just going to let it run the clock. And they took him. Okay, they took the center fielder I liked, so never mind. You know, all that talk I just said about drafting guys that you like, and they took the guy I liked. So you know what? We're taking the number 1 prospect in the class, Adrian Castro. I feel funny whenever I make that, like, oh, we're gonna do this, we're gonna do this, we're gonna do this, and then it doesn't work out. This guy just looked phenomenal, but all right. Now I think we need some position players. So there were some outfielders. I think Freddie Glover has to be this pick. Yeah. Freddie Glover will be this pick. And then I think, I mean, this right fielder's interesting. And this left fielder was interesting. But now I'm fully comfortable to say, oh, okay, I have to draft this third baseman first. And now I think what we will do is we'll take pitching and just take best player available from now on, because there's still so many good pitchers, relievers. I'll draft these guys, everyone that I like. I'm gonna also try to get this guy. Hopefully he'll drop a little bit longer, and then we should show you what we got. Okay, hoping this one makes a little. This one should actually do a little bit better. We're gonna go to the Yankees. We're gonna give him back Drew Waters, and in turn we're gonna get former White Sox draft pick Luis Gonzalez plus 2 prospects that should actually have those eligibility to get PPI picks next season or in 2 seasons, and Roderick Arias and Jorbit Vivas? I don't know. Yeah. The last deal that we're going to make in this sell-off is basically Clevenger, 388. This is also selling off. One of the reasons why I'm taking on bad deals and doing all this stuff too is we were winning too many games in the beginning of the season, and so I didn't want to do that. Basically, this is just a sell-off to lose more games intentionally. Bad ownership, I know, but also I thought it'd be cool to bring back Liam Hendricks. He's been playing in the minors all season, but it'd just be a nice reunion. Taking a look at our draft picks, I think we did a pretty good job at the top end here, getting 94 potential starting pitcher Adrian Castro, who looks like he will be our ace of the future. Might take him a little while to get there, but you know, talking about needing White Sox based pitching, I think him, Crochet, and Noah Schultz could be a very interesting top 3 of the rotation. Freddie Glover, love his bat, love the speed and the defense. He's not really a power guy. Looks more like a leadoff hitter in the future. And those are players that I love because they get on base a lot. His vision needs to be better, but he could be very interesting and high potential. Golsky, it has the better vision. He's just further away. Could be interesting too. So I think these position players we got, they're very good. One of the best relievers in the draft, and Javier Vizperas, which we need relievers. Huey Hill, safe pick. This was just a random swing for this guy, Roy Baladeras, and we missed. Whatever. And then Nelson Lee, interesting reliever who will probably take 5 years to get there, but 86 potential as a relief pitcher. That's a stud. And this was the center fielder that I liked right here in Jerry Young. So he was very good. A's always draft pretty well in this, and they got who I thought was probably the best player in this draft. So we went 67 and 95, thankfully, only winning 7 games in the last month of the season, which has helped us fall all the way down to second to worst in the AL and in the NL. That puts us, so 5th worst record in all of baseball. Not necessarily, you want to be lower, or 4th fourth worst record in all of baseball. You want to be a little lower, but honestly, that puts us in the lottery. There's a chance that we could win it and get the top pick. If not, we'll still be up there. So that was kind of the main goal here. Based on awards, I don't think we had any. I think we had a lot of runner-ups. Nobody had a good season besides Garrett Crochet, who, by the way, pitching rotation. I want to show this. Crochet, I did lock up long term on a descending deal because I figured that. I know in another reality they are shopping him as a potential trade piece, but based on what we want from our rebuild, he's our ace. He's our best pitcher. He's the future. He's the guy. He's the only lefty that you're going to end up getting. So he's our ace in this rotation. Cannon was decent. Thorpe, you want PPI picks from these guys, right? So Cody Hoyer was decent. I signed him long term as a piece simply because of, once again, talking about those contracts. And then lineup wise, I think I did sign Gavin Sheets long term because $2.3 million is quite nice. And then I think I signed Andrew Vaughn long term, who is right here as well, because $3 million for Andrew Vaughn, also very, very nice to get. Not a great season from really anybody, even 288, but even Lou Bob, 248 from him this season, hitting 26 home runs. I mean, yeah, no, he wasn't good. He wasn't good. Eloy hit 28 home runs, wasn't good. One of the best players of the guys are Dominic Fletcher, who you have to move. Paul DeYoung was decent. Luis Gonzalez was a pickup partially through the year, and he was actually very, very good for us. So I'll take it. But yeah, not a good team this season, which is fine. I think the next few seasons will go a little faster. I don't have to trade as many guys off. We're going to have more White Sox on our roster. So as I said in the postseason, the Phillies defeat the Yankees in the 2024 World Series. Your World Series MVP is Bryce Harper. Postseason MVP, Aaron Judge. Bryce Harper on this side. So the Phillies make it to another World Series, finally winning one. I did not look, though. I just want to show. Shohei won the MVP here. Soto won the MVP here. Cole won this won the Cy Young. And Dylan Cease won the Cy Young. The player who I thought was originally a White Sox, but was not, sadly. He is often a free agent and might be a guy you could sign, but we actually can't. He is not originally a White Sox. So anyways, we'll go into the offseason and let everybody walk, pretty much. I don't think there's really any players that we could sign, and we'll show you the lottery. Staying at 4, I guess, isn't that bad. Could have been worse. Could have fell like the A's did, but we'll stay at 4th. So yes, I've recapped from my dumb mistake with the Drew Waters thing. Hey, we turned Drew Waters into 2 guys that possibly could get this. I don't see Jorbit there, but Roderick. So we have one guy that we got out of this basically that could give us a draft pick. Now I'm going to hold on to him for a little while, but maybe in the future we can get a pick from him. For our intentions for 2025, we put together just a disgusting roster entirely. Keeping the same rotation with Crochet and being the only real guy here. And then the bullpen with Hoyer being really the only guy who's got a future here. I might see if I can trade Barlow and Soroka at some point this season. See if I can get anything for them. They're not going to net me anything in free agency. And lineup wise, I mean, it's also bad. I might see if I can move anything for Fletcher too this year. See if I can net anything for him. I did get Trace Thompson, who was a pick for them in like 2009. Yeah, it's not good. But hey, maybe Colson Montgomery can be good. That's kind of the hope. If you want to talk about setting a goal and meeting it, we set out a goal this season to be one of the worst teams in baseball, and oh my god, are we. We are terrible. Anyways, 4th pick in the draft. This time the A's cannot snipe a player off of us. However, there is one left fielder who looks fantastic. Not that one, though. I liked him a lot, and I don't think he's going to last 4. I can hope so, but there's also some good pitchers too, so it's not that big. Doug Obama. I liked Doug Obama. Come on. Come on. Don't take the left fielder. Damn it, they took the left fielder or right fielder. Okay, so the top 2 guys that I had on my board, Doug Obama and Francisco Quintero, are gone. And the reason why is because they were both older, 73 to 78 overall, 72 to 77 overall. Like, they were going to be major league guys, like, now. Once again, we are going to prioritize position players. The question is, which position player do we prioritize? I think we just take this second baseman here, who is not as good as the other 2 guys that I just saw that just got drafted, and is not as good as these pitchers like Richie Hernandez or this reliever Michael Kang. But honestly, position players are harder to get, so we're going to draft Johnny Sanguilin with pick 4. At the next pick, we have an injured reliever here. Once again, I'm going to look around for some position players because I have so many pitchers that I have scouted that were decent. I tried a lot of catchers, and man, they were not good in this class. Decent third baseman in Merrill Machado. And then there was a shortstop. Yeah. Do I want to take Miguel Ferreira? Yep. We are going to do that. We are going to take the 2 position players early and value them first. And now we can just go pitcher. So I'm not really going to show it because I'm just going to draft every pitcher that I can find. Another draft where I'd say that we did a very, very good job at the top half. We took Sanguilin with our 4th pick. Honestly, probably could have done a little better if we drafted a pitcher, but you also have to, like I said, with position players, I think that there's a value where, like, there is not much of a difference between having a 90 potential pitcher and an 86 potential infielder or something like that, because like position players being so much harder to find and being no guarantee they're going to be a success, and the just quantity of pitchers that you can get over the time, that like we drafted this guy here and we found the same ratings in potential. It's interesting. 86, 89, 86, 89 right here. So basically we replicated that with the next 2 picks, with later picks. So anyways, beyond that point, Sanguin is what I'm going to call it. I know it could be Sanguilin, but I'm going to go Sanguin, like Sanguin, whatever. 86 potential, good contact hitter. This is our goal. We like guys that get on base, and I think that he's going to be great at that. Ferreira is more of a defensive guy. He's really nowhere near being up, but could be an interesting defensive replacement when you have got Montgomery up there and Gonzalez up there, and then you got Ferreira as a possible defensive player. You've got Lance Glover, who could look more like a long reliever with that. Not really. He's got such good stamina. I don't know. I don't really like his stats, but he could be good. Rafael Hernandez, I do like his stats, but he's just much further away. And then David Yan. Yeah, this guy's going to be good. His walks per 9 is pretty bad, but could be really good. And then this was my catcher swing. Wasn't very good. And reliever, this guy was injured, and that hurt him. So, yeah. I do want a quick look at those top 2 guys. Oh, wow. I did not scout that guy. Anyways, I wanted to look at those top 2 guys that I liked. Obama and Doug Obama. 92 potential. Yeah. This guy is going to be an ace of aces. This guy would have been the top of our rotation if he was our pick. And the other one was not Chachin, who also very, very good. Was it Quintero? More power. Honestly, I'm not upset with that. I think with Sanguin's like contact ability and on base ability, I kind of value that over the power. And though Quintero's closer, I think we got lucky that Sanguin might actually be better for us than Quintero, especially because we already have that other outfielder, and then we have Lubob locked up. So, yeah, not a bad draft. As I was saying, we are the worst team in baseball, 33-79. We are one of the, I think we're 29th in ERA, 30th in on-base percentage, 30th in average, 30th in home runs, 28th in home runs allowed. Yeah, we're bad. Like, really, really bad.
Thankfully, we at least get to 50 wins, going 50 and 112 with one of the worst rosters and worst like seasons ever. But we got an award winner. It's Colson Montgomery winning Rookie of the Year, and the reason that's valuable is PPI, baby, getting picks. Juan Soto wins the MVP this season with the Mariners. Shohei gets another MVP, so that's 3 in a row for Shohei, and then also gets a Cy Young. So, American League. So Colson Montgomery was the only one for us. I don't even think we have anything else of value. Of course not. Team's bad. League leaders, Crochet with strikeouts though. Crochet is still pitching well. He's on his Felix Hernandez era right now. But he's not getting Cy Young, so he's not that good. All right, just a quick look at our rotation. Just pretty much, Crochet's good. 3.22 ERA for him. 224 strikeouts. He just strikes out a lot of guys, and his strikeouts are getting higher too. He just strikes out a lot of guys. Everybody else was bad. Literally everybody else was bad. Tanner Banks was good. Hendricks was okay. Hoyer was bad. So yeah, team's not good. Lineup wise, Montgomery 17 home runs, 235 average, 322 on base. Good season from him. Otherwise, yeah, 252, 247, 213 from Luis Robert. Man, that's a bad regret. It's 13 contact left. Okay. Eloy 239, Moncada 231, Corey Lee 190, 213. Yeah. We are gonna definitely get some value when our guys come up, when we start to see Freddie Glover play and everything, but that can't happen soon enough, can it? All right, taking a look at our postseason. The Orioles defeat the Braves in the World Series. They win, getting themselves a World Series, and Cedric Mullins gets the MVP. Gunnar on this side and Acuna on this side as the Braves lose that one. We will go to the offseason. I don't think I have any. I do want to show I did sign Colson Montgomery, knowing he's kind of our long-term piece, to a 12-year deal for $90 million. Kind of like give me that Acuna contract. Pay him $7-8 million to hopefully be one of the best shortstops in all of baseball. I hope that he can be that. Dominic Fletcher has found some value as his potential goes up, and while I do think there's a chance his rating could get up to a level where we could get a qualifying offer from him, my thought is he's 28. When that arbitration is over, he'll already be 31. So is he really going to be able to get that contract? Is he going to get to a high enough overall? I don't know. So what we're going to do is, and I just dropped my... So what we're going to do is we are going to trade for another potential guy in Spencer Jones, who I'm going to leave in the minors. He's not going to come up. That way I can hopefully hold him off for another season to maybe get a PPI the following year from him. And we'll get Carlos Rodon, a former White Sox, just to like boost up some of our rotation. And we're also going to give him Chris Flexen. Basically, this is a money for money deal with the Robbie Ray and Flexen to be able to make that money work. But yep, Rodon back to the White Sox. First overall odds. Let's see if we can get something near first. I don't think we're going to get first, but please just not like fifth. Fourth. PPI list looks pretty good for us this season, and we have a couple guys that I'm going to actually have in the majors. We've got 14 guys that could potentially get us a PPI pick. I think the main thing is finding one guy who could possibly win a Rookie of the Year for us. Because we got that already from Colson, and I kind of want to wait on the guys that we drafted, and then Herrera, the really interesting prospects. So I might use this as a season to say, and also Spencer Jones, we do get the credit for that one. This might be a Spencer Jones or a Roderick Arias season. Maybe I'll call both of them up, and then we'll just trade them as when we're done with the season, after we get something for them, and maybe that'll get us the pick. I don't know. So this season will probably end up being rough. At least we have Carlos Rodon in this lineup this time in this rotation, but This will hopefully be not like the last year that it's really bad, because obviously the next year will be bad as well, but the last year that it would be like really, really bad, because I do think that now we have some AAA bats who are interesting. We have Colson, who should progress now. Madrigal should continue to progress better. Eloy honestly can't stay this bad forever. Gavin should start getting better. Vaughn, like the guys that we have should now start improving to a level of value. Now, I still desperately need a catcher because Aquero doesn't actually work for this. So we really need to get a really good catcher. Thankfully, with Colson Montgomery winning Rookie of the Year, we're in good position there. And we've got, like I said, we've got good prospects coming in both the pitching rotation as well as in the lineup. I mean, just taking a look at top prospects in all of baseball, you can see Castro right here in third. And then we have down, actually, we're not doing as well as I would have thought, with Herrera down there, Vespera's there, Glover 48th, Lance Glover. I mean, yes, we still have a decent amount of prospects. I was just surprised Freddie Glover was that low. Anyways, I think we are almost set. Spencer Jones is going to be up this year in the lineup. Roderick Arias is going to be up. We're going to play them every day. We are still not necessarily trying to win. We are trying to get picks. And so if they can get themselves PPI picks or like one of them can do well enough to get themselves in the Rookie of the Year, that's our goal. And yeah, hopefully we can win more than 50 games, because it didn't really matter. Like that was bad and we still got the 4th pick. Not that we're contending, but I do want to get a little bit better production, and Casey Mize is available on the market. So we're just going to pick him up early, and hey, maybe at the deadline we can sell him for more. Maybe it's a buy and sell deal for Casey Mize. Who knows? We're throwing in Davey Garcia, Joe Barlow, and Connor Larkin, and also getting a closing prospect that I can trade later. Entering the 2026 draft, I spent the majority of the time scouting catchers this draft, and we have pick 4. There was no top end catchers, sadly, but I did find some that were a little bit later down the board. Now, top end position players, there were a couple, but a lot of them have some significant flaws, and that was the only one who didn't. I didn't expect to be able to get the best pick. The only guy who didn't, already taken. So we are going to be probably drafting somebody who I don't necessarily think is going to be the best. So we're going to have to look at value, where they can actually, what they can bring to the table. Because I don't think, like, my team ranking here, I don't think that these pitchers are substantial enough in value that I'd be like, oh, I need to get them. Maybe this guy, maybe Gasper, but his walks are pretty low. He's going to take a while to get up to that point. So when we look at players, then I have this third baseman who is good, high potential, decent, but he's just kind of basic, good defensive guy, but nothing like offensively that really gets me over. This third baseman is a little bit better hitting, but nothing really crazy. And then this guy, I think this is the pick, though he's just an all-around player. But it wouldn't be bad to just fill out our outfield. I know that he's technically ranked on our board way lower, but it doesn't hurt to just be safe and say, hey, we have one center fielder, we have another one, and then here's Elliot Benson. And we have a lot of picks this draft, so we're not necessarily in a bad spot. Now, I don't want to just take that. See, because look, now I can get this second baseman as well. And this is why then perfect. So now I have the not great necessarily, but good second baseman. And I have another pick here at pick 39, which will allow us to take basically the best player left on the board. But I don't know. Neither of these pitchers look super interesting to me. Gasper does. I think that's what we're going to do. We're going to take Gasper as the safe one. And then I want to take a catcher. This guy will probably still be around with our next pick, but I don't want to risk it. I want a catcher who is like a guaranteed, like this guy is a catcher that could be a major league catcher. Dave Dorman. That's our catcher. and I will sim the rest of them, or not sim, but I will make the rest of them, and I'll show you what we got.
And I'm just going to trade for former White Sox Chris Sale just because, why not? I'm going to throw 3 guys that I had no intention of keeping, and Chavis Chappelli and Perlander Baroa. All right. Oh, best draft yet. No doubt. With a ton of picks, we absolutely demolished this draft right here. Did super well. Now, the question is whether or not the players have a lot of value for us. Now, I am a little disappointed Dave Dorman was a 79 potential catcher. However, that's not a bad thing when you consider, okay, we bring him in. He's a contact catcher. He comes in, plays, and then one of the other guys get to develop, like Jamie Lugo, who's a 46 overall, isn't really close, but 93 potential, could end up being something. Now, he's 21. I don't think that matters that much, though, because we're basically putting them on a timeline of 6 years anyways. So he can come in and be a backup. And look, we got another good position player in Herbert Eckert, who is good contact, good power, 95 potential. He was on the top end of his range. That's what you love to see. Elliott was on the low end, but he's close. Good contact guy to be able to put in the outfield. So now your outfield could look like on one side Benson, and on the other side you have Lubob, and then you also have the center fielder that I drafted in the first one. I can't remember his name right now off the top of my head, but okay. Gasper, 94 overall with hits per 9 and walks per 9 as his best. That's what you love to see. Like I said, we have the 2 catchers. Carlos Ramirez is good. Dirk Melvin is another defensive shortstop, but 86 potential. And then this random pick in the last one was 77, so not bad. Honestly, the only one I want to check is I want to see Steve Morrison. Oh yeah, Steve Morrison he's 77 overall already. Yeah, that guy's good. And there's Henry Velasquez. And honestly, yeah. Yeah. So future lineup now. Let's look at the depth chart. First off, let's just go to here. Oh, Freddie Glover. That's his name. So you have Freddie Glover. You've got Lou Bob in the center field. You've got Benson in the other one. You've got shortstop here, Colson Montgomery. You have Herrera at third, or one of the other guys. You got Madrigal. Still probably need a first baseman, though I signed Vaughn and Sheets long-term, and this is why it's kind of weird because it doesn't show. Vaughn and Sheets are long-term options there. You have our pitching staff. We have guys coming up like Castro, then you still have Crochet. You have Schultz here. You have Lance Glover. Like, we have a lot of really interesting prospects now. Now, the problem is that we need them to stay developing, because obviously they can be good. The question is, will they make it to, will they make it to this level before Crochet starts regressing, Robert starts regressing, all that. So 43 and 70, not as bad as we were last year. That's because of those pitching signings. And one of the reasons I did those pitching signings is because I wanted to wait on Schultz, and I wanted to wait and actually have those guys develop more. So I wanted them lower in the rotation. I wanted them to be able to go into the long relief role if I needed to adjust that at parts of the season. And now I can do that. And so that's why we brought in Rodon, Mize, and it just helps in general. I also think that there is a thing about like lotteries in sports that if you're the worst team, you'll never win it. So you can ask the Detroit Pistons about that. So, all right. I will see you at the end of the season. 61 and 101 to end the season. And yeah, not a good season. Once again, a little bit better for us. But I think the problem is that our guys aren't really getting any progress. We did get an award this season, and it's another Rookie of the Year. Spencer Jones, who was on the PPI list too, meaning that we get another pick that we wanted to get there. Joe Ryan, back-to-back Cy Youngs for him. And finally, Shohei doesn't win MVP as it goes to Ozuna. But another great season, another Rookie of the Year, meaning we get another one of these PPI picks, which are valuable to get. We want to see those. Garrett Crochet didn't lead the league in strikeouts this year, but was still really good. 214 strikeouts for Garrett Crochet this season, who was phenomenal. The other pitchers in the rotation, 417 for Rodon,
272 from Mize. Thorpe had a 404 and Sale. So like the top of the rotation, not bad. One of the reasons why I was having the issues is like Jonathan Cannon, 632, 168 whip. These pitchers weren't doing anything of value, and I just would rather have some form of production. And one of the things too is like, I don't mind if we let these guys walk in free agency, and I'd rather have that than be stuck with a bunch of players that I can't play. So the bullpen wasn't that bad. Leisure only played 3 innings, but Banks 087 in his dude's getting better with age. And then Cody Hoyer, he got lit up at the end of the season. He was sitting decently. Maybe want to move him out of the closing role as we move into the rest of the season, or rest of the anyways, team wasn't necessarily that great. If I go up to the majors, you'll see Jacob Gonzalez shouldn't be there. 208, 254 from Blake Mitchell, not bad. 239 from Vivas, 243 from Madrigal, who once again was just kind of mediocre, and doesn't really get on base a lot for a guy that I would hope that would get on base. Montgomery, 18 home runs, really didn't progress that much. Honestly, look at that on base number and how much that dropped this season, from 322 to 299. Spencer Jones was good this year, doesn't get on base a lot though, and this has been the problem. A lot of these guys just don't get on base. Eloy with 27 home runs, at least slugs, but doesn't get on base. Andrew Vaughn gets on base a little bit, but he had a down year, even playing 162 games. Arias didn't get on base. Robert, he was injured for half the season, so does get on base. Gavin Sheets 328, and then Corey Lee is awful. So yeah, this will be another off season of seeing what we can get for the lottery. Oh, before I forget, Brewers defeat the Red Sox in the World Series, winning their first ever, as Joey Wiemer gets World Series MVP. Postseason MVPs goes to Tristan Casas and Christian Yelich. So, good for the Milwaukee Brewers. So I need to go over a quick revisionist history for a second, because I want to fill you in on how stupid I am. I think you'd find this interesting as an audience. I accidentally, when I was checking my roster, put in the wrong roster originally, and then edited it. And when I edited it and re-put in the roster, I realized I'd left GM contracts on. Well, as anybody who has played this game and has had GM contracts on knows, when you attempt to rebuild a team by tanking and getting picks, you get fired.
So he's an idiot. Yeah.
And I got fired. Thankfully, after about 2 hours of re-rolling the last 3 games of the season, because that was my last save point, I'm back with the White Sox. Now, sadly, with that, and I have to say this sadly because I am a Brewers fan. The Brewers did not win the World Series this time. Instead, I believe it was the Yankees. So if you see that, that's my fault for being dumb. We will not get fired again. Reinsdorf was about to make a mistake, but somebody stepped in and made sure he didn't. And we're gonna take pride in that. All right, back to the offseason. So the Texas Rangers are not going to be competitive this year, and I was thinking, in regards to simply trying to acquire draft picks while also needing to be a little bit more competitive, that way I don't get fired at the end of the next 3-year stint, even if we do make the playoffs. I just want to be safe after that mistake. What we are going to do is we're going to bring back former Chicago White Sox Marcus Semien, as he is progressing hardcore and he's 36. And we're also going to bring in Leody Taveras, who is an outfielder who I do not necessarily think the Rangers will bring back, knowing that their outfield core is pretty young, and they've already signed Adolis Garcia to an extension, and Evan Carter and Wyatt Langford are there. So what we are going to do is we're going to trade them
basically 3 prospects like that are already MLB ready, and Roderick Arias, Yorbit Vivas, and Corey Lee. 3 guys who I don't think are going to matter because we're not originally White Sox for us. And what our intention with this trade is, Simeon will play for us. That's fine. He's just going to be better than like any of our second basemen because we just don't have any right now, and I just need a little bit more production. But Taveras is on the last year of his deal, and one thing with the qualified offers is that when you make the trade prior to the season or sign them and they haven't gotten them, then they can get a qualified offer, meaning that another team can sign them away from us. Now, the thing is, we still have to issue that qualified offer for that to work, meaning there's a chance we could re-sign Taveras, then I have to trade him. But whatever. I'm doing the same thing with Casey Mize. It's why I made the trade for him. I signed Casey Mize to a 1-year deal with the intention of letting him walk next season. And I'm doing the same thing with Taveras here. That'll give us 2 guys that we're going to let walk at the end of the season to get draft picks back. Hopefully. And if not, then we trade them for other guys that we can get draft picks for. Spencer Jones will be out of the door at the end of the offseason. I just haven't found a deal that I like for him yet. And so the other deal that we're going to attempt to do this with is with the Chicago Cubs catcher Danny Jansen, who has 1 more year left on his deal. Now, this one might not work. I already cannot recall if he got the qualifying offer the first time that he was a free agent, and I don't know if he'll get one, only being in the 80s and a B potential, and also in his 30s. But I also don't think we're going to get much production from our catcher this season, so I don't necessarily think that that matters. And with Taveras now playing in the outfield, I think we're going to just throw Spencer Jones over here to the Cubs for Danny Jansen. Draft lottery this time not having the worst odds, finally. Maybe this will work better. Please? Pick 2! Hey, I do think there's a thing about having the worst odds. Maybe it's just like a, or not the worst, but the best odds that you never get a top pick. But, maybe I'm wrong because the Giants did, so whatever. And so we have come into this season of 2027 with a slightly different approach than we did before. And that's because I need to try to avoid getting fired at the end of this 3 section. And this is, all this is stemming from a mistake I made. So I understand if you're like, dude, you're just dumb. I know I'm dumb. That happens every once in a while. Sometimes you're not thinking. So I'm also doing some dumb stuff in order to try to kind of make up for it. We're just rolling this ball down the hill and just, snowball effect. We'll just making it worse and worse. But I think our drafting has been so good that I really don't want to just go out and say, oh well, we lost. That's why I didn't just restart. You know what I mean? So we went out and we did some things this season where we attempted to get some guys who we are going to let walk. And that is in the pitching rotation. Dustin May and Casey Mize at the end of this season are going to walk in free agency. Casey Mize, last year of his deal. Dustin May, I signed to a 1-year deal in free agency. Both of them will hopefully be good enough to get themselves a qualified offer, and therefore we can let go and maybe get a pick back for them. I also don't think Noah Schultz is ready yet. I think he can come up this season, but I don't think he's ready yet to come up. I still don't like that hits per 9 and that walks per 9, and he has not been performing very well in the minors, so I don't really have a lot of faith in the production I've seen from him. The other guy we're doing this with is Gratterall, who is not going to get us anything, but I figured also, I don't have many relievers right now, and so it doesn't hurt to just bring him in and keep our guys not playing into extra innings, and our pitching staff a little bit more energized by actually having a good closer at the end. So 1-year deal once again just for Gratterall. And in the lineup, the one thing that we did is we brought up Jordan Sprinkle, who was a former 2nd-round pick, I want to say. He was either 2nd or 3rd-round pick for them. And then Freddie Glover, our 1st-round pick. I'm in the back end of the lineup right now. I do think he's more of a leadoff guy, but I don't want to throw him in a leadoff role in the beginning of the season. Danny Jansen is here as well. He will be gone at the end of the season. Taveras will be gone at the end of the season. And hopefully, with that in mind, you'll also have Zavala can come up. Sanguien can come up soon. We'll have other guys like Gonzalez will be ready to come up. You can go even further down into the minors where you can find some of the other guys that we drafted early on. And this is a mess right now, so you can't necessarily see it, but Elliot Benson is getting closer to being ready. And then we still have guys on our system. PPI list, we have this many guys who are available to get it, but really the ones that we're targeting this season is going to be pretty much just Freddie Glover, because I don't think anybody else really has an actual shot at it. Cuero's going to be a backup catcher because I still don't really like his stats that much. Though, if he performs well, he could just end up being the catcher for a little while and getting some production, but I don't necessarily see it. So yeah, that's going to be this lineup for this season. We're going to go in with a goal of trying to just be around 500 this year, but also see if we can get ourselves a third straight Rookie of the Year for the White Sox in Freddie Glover. Yeah, that'll be this season, and maybe we can draft really, really well at pick 2. And I just want you to see this before we go into this draft. 3 first-round picks feels pretty nice. Feels pretty nice to start. Sadly, not a very good role for position players in this draft at the top end. So what we're probably going to end up having to do is we're going to take a pitcher with that 2nd overall pick. And there's 2 really, really good pitchers here in this draft, so I don't mind either of them. That's Mlbtheshow, who is the number 1. And the number 2 pitcher is this Ryan Robles, who is even closer, technically, than Mlbtheshow. So we have another ace pitcher. Honestly, this is probably the best pitcher that we have in our entire thing, and he'll probably be up right away. Now, I did want to draft closers simply because I think we need them. And that's where that 2nd first-round pick is going to come in handy here. Now, the question is, just taking a quick look, I see 1 closer drafted, and that's it. So we might be able to get... Yes. Now, here's the question. You take a closer or you take a position player, because I have 2 closers here. I think we take this guy here, BJ Farmer, the top closer on my board. And since we got to take that, we can take Yamaguchi here, or we can take another closer. And I'm going to value the next reliever player. We're going to take 2 relievers. And Yamaguchi is still there. I think we drafted really, really well here already, seeing all of that. So I think I'm going to go another reliever. Or do I go position? I think we got to take 1 position player here. If not 2. 44 to 9 at 59. 51 to 61. He's closer. And now I think we just take best available. So I'll show you the picks at the end of our draft. There's so much blue. There's so much blue. Look at this draft. Okay. Oh my God. Just blue after blue after blue. Ryan Robles, 92 potential, 70 overall pitcher. Might be about a year or 2 till he comes up. Bam. Awesome. BJ Farmer. Don't like the walks per 9. But yeah, that's our closer for the future. BJ Farmer. Troy Ruden's a little further away, but also fantastic closer. Still, walks per 9 is not that good. Yamaguchi is a stud. And I almost didn't get him. 95 potential. Great lefty bat at third base. Bam. And William Harris wasn't necessarily that great. Steve Spillane, 92 potential. He's further away. Robert Ono, 89 potential. He's further away. And then my last pick wasn't even that bad, considering that that's the last pick, because I like the hits per 9 and walks per 9. Could be a long reliever. We are not going to go 500, but our record is closer, right? So we might not be super, super bad. I'm also starting to really let's consider our prospects now. And we are in such a good position that we have 2 top-end pitchers, plus, we still have Schultz coming. You have our second baseman in Sanguien, and then you've got Eckert, and then you've got Ono now. You've got Herrera at third, plus Yamaguchi at third. Our outfield is Freddie Glover and Elliot Benson and Lou Bob and Eloy Jimenez, and now that other outfielder that we just drafted.
Our bullpen's a little weak, which is why I focused on getting those closers. Now, the problem is that some of them, like Vesperis, won't be up till about 2030. So we might still not contend till about 2030. But I think that we have the team. We have the prospects. We have the players. The main goal now is developing these guys, continuing to get draft picks, because I still think we need a catcher. I don't like the catcher prospects that we have. They're just too far away. And I don't necessarily... Okay, come on. Like, Dorman could be good. I like his bat offensively. But then you've got Hu and Lugo, who are nowhere near major league talent yet. And so... Is Dorman going to be good enough to be an everyday catcher? I don't know. I could be. He's got good defense. He's got good contact. I like it. I just don't know if he's going to be good enough. You know, you've got first baseman. You've got Sheets and Vaughn. At second baseman, I think we're good with Sanguien and Eckert. And then at third base, I think we're now stacked getting that other guy too, plus Madrigal. And shortstop, we've been good this whole time. Honestly, we drafted too well at shortstop. And outfield, I mean, Elliot Benson's almost ready to come up. I signed Lou Bob to an extension. And so our outfield is set. Honestly, this team is set. It just needs probably more relief pitching and a catcher. So I think next season when we go to the draft, that's going to be our goal, is to look for a catcher at the top end of the draft and then relief pitching. Because I think with Crochet, Schultz, you still have Castro, Hill, Gasper, and then the pitchers that we just drafted. We're going to have pitching. So from now on, relief pitching and catching, and then whatever other top talent we can find. So sadly, we didn't get our way back up to 500. And honestly, this isn't necessarily a really good spot to be in because I don't think we're even in a good position to get a really high draft pick. Not like we necessarily need them anymore because we have had so many picks. But that does... Okay, we're pretty bad. That puts us at 10th worst, I want to say. 9th worst. So a pretty low chance of actually winning the lottery this season. And we didn't get to 500. Honestly, I would have rather just lost 2 more games than and got ourselves a little bit closer to the top end. And the other thing that sucks is we didn't get ourselves a Rookie of the Year this year. He wasn't even close because this Tucker Flint guy was kind of crazy for the Angels, hitting 30 home runs in his rookie season. So we didn't get any awards from any of our rookies or any of the guys on those contracts. So I don't think we're going to get a PPI pick this year. Sadly, no PPI stuff from Freddie or from Cuero. And I guess it's all up to what we get in the extra, or in the offseason there. Now, we did have good seasons, though. Crochet, 2.91 ERA, up to 212 strikeouts. Fantastic to see him just continuously getting better. Dustin May had a good season. Maybe we can get ourselves a pick from him. Rodon continuously regressing. He's old. Thorpe, 4.48. Yaro Iriarte, not that bad. Schultz stayed up in the minors, and then Gratterall was not good. So, funnily enough, we brought him in to do that and to be better, and he was actually kind of worse than what we had the last several seasons. Jonathan Cannon, 4.17, up at the majors this season, and 3.29 for Jared Kelly. So we're seeing some progression from our guys. Lineup wise, sent anybody down? AAA. Jordan Sprinkle got sent down. He had 231, only 65 at bats though. Luis Gonzalez got sent down. Not necessarily that great of a season from him. Tim Anderson got sent down. Yeah, not great from him either. So Anderson's probably done, and that's okay. 292 from Colas in that last month. 268 from Vaughn, who continuously gets on base. You love to see it from him. Eloy hitting 23 home runs this year and getting his on-base percentage back up over 300. Like to see that. We did move Freddie up to the leadoff. He was hitting 400 in the beginning of the season, and he still gets on base a lot. So 347 on base. He wasn't in the Rookie of the Year race simply because there was really no chance for him to be in it. But he had a great season. He would be Rookie of the Year in just about every other year. But this year there was a fantastic guy on the Angels. So nothing from Freddie. Taveras, pretty good season for him there. Lou Bob back up to kind of normal, hitting 282, 35 home runs. This season he stayed healthy and he got a 900 OPS. So you like that 9 dot. Cuero, not good. Madrigal, meh. Colson, Montgomery, worst season yet from Montgomery, but his potential went up, so you like to see that. But man, he just didn't get a lot of just 218. I mean, at least he's getting on base. Yeah, but Danny Jansen wasn't necessarily good, and he regressed. So honestly, that trade probably didn't work out, because I'm going to assume we're not going to get any picks from him. So we're going to sim the postseason. And the Dodgers defeat the Twins in the World Series and with a sweep. So that, let's check quick. Awards, World Series MVP goes to Mookie Betts, Vlad Guerrero on this side, Mookie Betts on this side. So that'll be this season, and we'll see what we can get in regards to picks from Mize, May, Jansen, and Taveras. We're also going to attempt this gambit one more time with Logan O'Hoppe. I do think Dolman, or our catcher, whatever that we drafted, needs one more year before he can play. And so I'm going to bring in O'Hoppe to do this year. He's got 1 year left, and I think we can capitalize on that by letting him walk. So we are going to give them Bryce Eldridge, Oscar Colas, and Wes Kath. I also need to clear some space on the 40-man, so this should work to hopefully get us another pick the following season. To say we have the best farm system in all of baseball would be a bit of an understatement. I think for our drafting, we've done very, very well. However, we're in a bit of a tough spot right now because the gambit, well, it failed. I have Dustin May and Casey Mize and Leotis Taveras still all on the roster. So at June 15th, I'm trading all of them. I don't know what else you can really do there. They can no longer get qualified offers, so we're just going to have to trade them. And also, I just want room for Glover to come up and Castro to come up and everybody to come up and actually pitch for us. So our pitching rotation is going to be a mess this season. It's no lie that it will be. We've got too many guys that are starters now. And May and Mize will have to go. Thorpe is going to have to go here soon, probably. Well, maybe we can get a natural pick from him, but we probably won't, to be honest with him. So Thorpe will be out the door soon. I signed Schultz to an extension. I signed Glover to an extension. Just decent deals for guys that I think are going to be really, really good for us in the future. And we have no money, so I couldn't sign any free agents to try to do this over again with any of those guys. So yeah, we're going to let them walk, and maybe O'Hoppe will do it well for us, and maybe we can make a playoff run too, because I think I need that. Now, if we are in contention at the deadline, I'm not selling, but you know, I think we could make a wild card with even trading away Mize and May and Taveras. So we'll see what we can do. Talk about a blockbuster trade. We're going to give away Dustin May, Casey Mize, and Leotis Taveras. All three of these guys who we signed and we didn't want, for another attempt at getting extra picks. We are doing this in the middle of the season, so both these guys have one more year after this. Gavin Williams and Nolan Shanuel. Honestly, I could just trade these guys in the offseason too. So going into the draft, we scouted pretty much all relievers and catchers, and the hope is at pick 9 that we can find ourselves getting one of them. There's a lot of good relievers. I do think that getting the catcher is more valuable simply because it's a more valuable position. The question is whether or not they're there. I scouted 3. Sadly, we didn't get lucky in regards to our picks this offseason. Eddie Perez goes, who was not my number 1 catcher. My number 1 catcher is still available. That is Jeff Pride, who is closer. Now, here's the thing. There's also Raul Castro, who we might just take as well later on here. And then Rodney Lyons. Like, there's a lot of actually decent catchers in this draft. But I think we are just going to go with Jeff Pride, who does not have the highest ceiling, but we need a catcher. So we're drafting him. I do want to see all of the closers are gone now, sadly. And this is where I was like, okay, do we draft catcher? Do we draft, reliever? So I am going to take, though, with the 3rd pick, this top reliever. So we are drafting basically just catchers and relievers this draft. I'll show you what we get at the end. Not bad. Now, here's the thing that kind of sucks is that being a 65 overall at catcher at that top pick means that he ended up not necessarily even really being valuable. We already have a catcher that is that. Now, his potential's higher, so he should end up being better, but now we've got 3 catchers plus the 3 that we already have. Yeah, it just kind of sucks. These guys weren't necessarily as good as I would have liked them to be. Now, Ward Smith was good. Fantastic reliever. He'll be up next season. Marshall Alford was not that bad of a pick. Could already be up pretty quickly. Newton, meh. Marte, once again, just one of those. And then Anthony Ramirez, because I keep drafting those late guys. Now, I do want to go look quick because we didn't get any of those closers. And I want to see what other catchers were on the board, too, because that was pretty much all we scouted. Not center fielders, closers and catchers. Vinny Schroth was good. This was the second basically catcher, or like the last closer on the board. This would have been a guy I would have taken if I would have had a second first. Rodney Lyons was I think he was the catcher that was drafted before us. This was probably, so this is where, oh no, this was the guy who got drafted before us. But this is basically what it seems like, is that me not having that second first round pick this year really, really hurt us. Not getting a rookie of the year hurt us. So Derek Gore is the only kind of top end decent catcher that I see in here. Honestly, I mean, I guess we didn't do that bad, but it's kind of disappointing because we do need production a little bit sooner than later. And maybe Pride plus Dorman will be good at catcher. And I think we still have the first baseman locked up. Sadly, none of these guys have secondary positions. Well, Marte does, but yeah, I mean, I guess it is what it is. So we are a 500 team fighting for the wild card. I don't know necessarily what we need to do here. Just finish over 500. That's our goal. Okay, then that's our goal. We're just going to finish over 500. So we are going to compete, do whatever I can to try to finish over 500 for the rest of this season. And with that, we finally make the playoffs, making the wild card. Now, here's the thing. We're still not technically counting this because this isn't draft only team. This will hopefully, if anything, just give me high job security so that when I get rid of all these players and are now officially all White Sox players, which is what we are going to be doing next season, by the way, that I won't get fired at the end of that season when we probably don't make the playoffs. So this is just kind of a simple run that I hope that we can get something from. We do have an award winner. It is Garrett Crochet winning the Cy Young here in 2028. 3.13 ERA, 231 strikeouts. Good to see. Do we have any other Gold Glove from Madrigal? Oh, and Freddie Glover is a runner-up here in the fielding for Gold Glove. That Gold Glove would be really valuable because it would give us some PPI stuff, but it won't, sadly, because he's the runner-up. But not a bad season here. Crochet leads the league in WAR and as strikeouts, and then Eloy Jimenez leading the league in home runs. So we also get our power hitting right there from Eloy Jimenez, and I'd love to see that. And I do want to see Freddie Glover get more hits. I think he's getting on base all right, but I think we need a little bit more out of him. So just taking a quick look at our pitching rotation, Gavin Williams sadly went down in overall a little bit. We will keep him next year. So I think we're going to have 23 of the 26 guys being White Sox guys. We're going to keep him for one more season. I think we are ready for Castro, Glover to come up. And a couple other guys, but not everybody. I'm going to go through the lineup and make sure that all of the bullpen arms are actual White Sox, the guys who were drafted beforehand, simply because I've already forgot what bullpen arms we filled this thing up with, and relievers are hard to know if they've actually been drafted by the White Sox. Lineup wise, from the bench, Cuero's the only one who was really up, hitting 240. Any of these guys who were up, 163 from Sprinkle, not a good year from him. 218 from Vaughn, not a good year from him. So, and then 205 from Gonzalez, not a good year from him. So all of them did pretty poorly. Looks like Dorman's ready to come up. this next season. Herrera is ready to come up next season. Sanguillen is ready to come up. So looks like we've got a lot of guys ready to come up. Jacob Gonzalez is ready. So that's basically why I'm saying this. We should be able to clear up room for the rest of our lineup with like Semien also being gone too. 251 for 18 home runs from Freddie Glover, who was also runner-up in the Gold Glove. Still getting on base, not as much as he did last year, so less walks. He did walk 75 times his rookie season, but I need to see, he's got good hitting stats. I just need to see those, like, look at the progression he had this year. Yet, that negative, he must have just done really bad against lefties and it really hurt his average. Shanuel is one of those guys who we're also going to keep, so that is one of the other ones that we're going to keep to try to get an extra pick out of him. Ohapi hit 294. Hopefully that should be good enough to get a pick out of him this offseason. And then Robert back down to 244. Not really good from him. And then Eloy, who I think was actually doing really well in like the... gets a home run champion, but he was like in the Silver Slugger race and the MVP race, so good season from him. Montgomery, not necessarily great. Madrigal got a Gold Glove. Sheets was the better of the two first basemen this year, and then Semien in his last season with us here. It's 245. So nothing crazy from us. I'm not even gonna like really mess too much with it because I don't care about winning here. We are going to sim through these playoffs. We're just going to auto fix it, and we lose to the Orioles. This isn't our team, so that's okay. And the Rangers defeat the Diamondbacks in the World Series. Looking at awards, Wyatt Langford wins the World Series MVP, so it looks like we must have helped them out a little bit, because if you remember, we traded them a couple pieces, and they end up getting a World Series in 2028. I actually want to look at, okay, whatever. I want to look at that roster, because I remember doing that big trade with them. How much did that end up helping them? Corey Lee was their starting catcher this year. Vivas didn't play for them this year. And Arias was a platoon shortstop for them. So it didn't seem to help too much, but at least they had a good catcher from us. So you're welcome, Texas Rangers. And we will go into the offseason and hopefully this time get a pick out of Ohapi. I'm going through the roster right now, and none of the three guys that I have over there, Iriarte, Eater, or Cuero, technically were drafted by or signed by the White Sox. And I'm just going to try to get an expiring deal that could be productive this season. So we're just going to get Freddie Fermin from the Royals. Three more guys that are not White Sox. I am going to throw Leisure, Cosmo, and Drew Thorpe to Hunter Green. None of these guys are originally White Sox. And so once again, we are going to go for one last gambit there with him. And I have one small group of players I also need to move after this one. All of these guys I'm picking up are on expiring deals. Shanuel, Fermin, Gavin Williams, Hunter Green. We will not bring them back except for if they accidentally come back on the qualifying. This is why we're doing this. I'm trying to maximize the assets. I still think it makes sense to try to maximize assets in a draft-only rebuild. So we're going to dump those guys to the Reds. Might as well just make another trade with the Reds. We'll just get Alexis Diaz as well. Expiring deal, we just gave him a closer. We're just going to give him the rest of our bullpen now too. So our bullpen is going to be very weak this season. Our pitching staff will be top heavy. But that means that every player that we have that is not a White Sox originally is officially on an expiring deal this season. Meaning we have one last season before we are fully Chicago White Sox. And so, starting the 2029 season, we are in a position where we now have almost everybody ready to go. We have all of our position players pretty much set. Every single one of these position players, except for Freddie Fermin and Nolan Shanuel, are original White Sox. I even brought back Jake Berger, original White Sox. I feel like White Sox fans are probably like, why did we trade him in the first place? Now, I don't know if I should have brought him here because technically he just blocks the space for Herrera and for Kath and a couple other guys like Sanguillen, but whatever. Basically, I'm bringing him in strictly because the first base production hasn't necessarily been that good. He can be a first baseman. Herrera could be a first baseman. And then we can figure it out. You know, I don't know if Madrigal's a long-term guy here for us anymore. He's already 32. So, I mean, Berger's already 32, but we just maybe we're in a little bit of a predicament there. Pitching rotation is where we're going to struggle. Obviously, we have our top 3 guys, including Cy Young winner Garrett Crochet. These 2 guys are going to be gone at the end of the season. And the bullpen is weak, but it is all, except for Diaz, it is all White Sox. And in the minors, okay, AAA is a mess right now because I had to move all the guys, but this is a guy we drafted, this is a guy we drafted, this is a guy we drafted. Our bullpen's kind of getting ready. Wooten is a guy we drafted, Farmer's a guy we drafted. We will have a closer by next season. So this is our last year where we're still not necessarily contending, just drafting. And I will see you at the draft where we should have another pick from the Logan O'Hoppe deal. Starting the 2029 draft, we are taking advantage of the fact that we have 2 firsts and 2 seconds, but they are now late firsts and late seconds, and this is kind of it's kind of the thing that comes in with like having to contend. This is something that I wouldn't have had to deal with had I not made the mistake of putting on GM contracts, because there actually was a prospect that looked pretty close to generational at the top of first baseman. I don't know if he actually was, but he did look pretty close to it. He didn't get picked in the top 3, surprisingly. But yeah, it goes to 5 to the Tigers. But there's still a good amount of good relievers, which is still something we need. And I mean, I didn't see many position players that were really interesting. There's this Ron Todd guy, Willie Samuel, guys I would take with my second first. But what we're going to do, knowing that we need prospects that are close, as well as guys that are going to be very, very good, I'm looking at Derek Gomez, Corey Lugo, and Daryl Smith, just to continuously stack up this, I guess, bullpen, because that's kind of where I know that we are severely lacking. So Derek Gomes will be my first pick. And it looks like we still have Corey Lugo as an option here. And I'm going to take that. We will go Corey Lugo with that next pick. So these are our 2 firsts are also closers again. And now we will take ourselves an outfielder in Willie Samuel. So once again, we did draft basically going for relievers. We're going based on need, which is not what I said I was going to set out to do in this draft. I was going to go more for best available, but I also am thinking like which players not only are best available, but which ones could possibly make our team. And that's what's getting me into the picks that I'm taking. And so, yes, are there some guys here that maybe you wouldn't generally pick, you wouldn't value as highly as I am doing? Yeah, I agree. I think that I am taking guys that you would normally not draft super high, but I also think that we are close enough. Crochet is getting older already. Lou Bob is getting older already. Eloy is getting older already. We're running out of time with that part of the core, and I want those guys to be a part of this team, not necessarily like on their last legs when we end up competing and going for our World Series. So this season, our last season without all White Sox, I think we are in a good position to say, hey, we can add some relievers. Next season, we will have them. They will be a big part of the bullpen, and we can work for the next several seasons on improving the pitching staff to be on the level of what I think our lineup will be, because we did build a pretty good offensive team. Anyways, I will advance and show you what we drafted. I mean, I don't think we did too bad in this draft. Derek Gomes is a pretty good player at the top end. When you're talking about relievers, you really can't get much better than that. You got Corey Lugo, who's pretty good. I was hoping these guys were a little higher overall than what they ended up being, but you know, you'll take it. Willie Samuel wasn't as good as I thought he would. Lou Prince, not really going to be a core piece of this team. Vargas, Ibarra, not bad. Lee Perez, I mean, look, we took some swings, got some players, and none of them are great necessarily, but they are interesting. I do want to check. There was, I think, what did we skip out on? First, generational talents. I wanted to see if there was one with that first baseman from Detroit. He was not. Okay. But the starting pitcher for Kansas City was. Okay. So We should be able to, we might actually be able to make the playoffs this season. Kind of led not even by those guys that aren't ours. Actually, we've got some really good production from some of our draft picks. And at 87 and 75, we are a wild card team, meaning that I believe I should be able to keep my job. Anyways, so we'll be playing the Mariners in the first round of the postseason. This is once again the last season now where we will not technically be able to count what we do as a success. So we're not really going to take this playoff run seriously. Luis Robert and Freddie Glover get themselves runner up in this. Okay, no rookie of the year for us. This pitcher is kind of crazy. No rookie of the year, but we get some gold gloves, which is very valid. And Dorman was a runner up too. So it looks like we actually have a lot of our prospects are played pretty well. Alexis Diaz led the league in saves that year. Who really cares on that end? But what do we get for like power and stuff? Berger with 38 home runs. All right, you like to see it. 36 from Robert. Pitching rotation. Okay, this is going to look a little messy because I think I have some guys down here. BJ Farmer was bad. Okay. But anyways, 5-6 from Huey Hill. Not really what you like to see. 2-4-1 from Sean Burke. Not bad. 3.79 from Hoyer. 3.52 from Kelly. Cannon with a 6 ERA this season. 4.89 from Smith. And Diaz, the 2.33. He will be gone at the end of the season, as will Gavin Williams and Hunter Green, who I'm hoping we can get a pick back from. And then Crochet with a 4.05, Schultz with a 4.26, and 4.33 from our rookie Adrian Castro. Taking a look at the lineup, first they send anybody down. They sent Vaughn down, 2.26, 3.18 on base. Wes Kath they sent down, 3.71 on base percentage, pretty good as a bench bat. Gavin Sheets, who has a broken foot, is down here, and he was playing so well. 3.95 on base percentage. Man, Sheets has actually been quite good. I was thinking that Vaughn was going to be the better first baseman of the two, but it looks like Sheets has taken that role. I gotta go back up to the majors, but Sheets has taken that role. I actually sent and had Fermin and Shanuel on the bench all season just because I wanted to see the production from everybody else. So Fermin, whatever, 2.49. He's not gonna get anything back from us, I don't think, or in his from a deal or whatever. And here's the thing too, we'll do those qualifying offers for each of these guys, but I'm also thinking there's a chance that I'll just kind of let them like I might just cut them at the end of the offseason if it fails. Like I'll just release them, and we'll take the $88 million hit if I have to. Seems ridiculous, I know, but not like we're gonna sign any free agents. Madrigal, he's had a down year there. Zavala didn't play. Glover, Gold Glove for Glover. 272 average, and what's his on base look like? 338. Okay, so he's a little bit back up, getting his hits up now, as he looks like a core piece here. Dorman was actually phenomenal at catcher this year for us. 276 average, 321 on base. He's an offensive catcher. I'd love to see it. Maybe we don't need all those other catchers as badly as I thought we would. Lou Bob, home run hitter, 36 home runs from him. Eloy got sent down. Where's Eloy at? Where is Eloy? Oh, no, he's at the bottom of the lineup. Okay, I'm sorry. Jake Berger, 280 with 38 home runs. Who cares about Shanuel? Herrera, 270 with 20 home runs. This is their international signing from real life this season. 20 home runs from him. Love to see it as a rookie. Jacob Gonzalez, not really good. Eloy, 17 home runs. He had to split a lot. And then Montgomery up to 250, 332 on base, 27 home runs. You still want to see more from him, but we got him locked up so long term that I don't really care. Him and Freddie, we've got locked up for a long time. So those two should be good. So let's go. I'm not even going to adjust once again because I don't necessarily care about this playoff run. We are going to sim the first round of the playoffs. Who cares? Bench. And bench. And we got eliminated. We lost Freddie and Gavin Williams. So sim the rest of the postseason. The Dodgers defeat the Twins in the 2029 World Series. Taking a look at that, that is a Nick Senzel World Series MVP, Jonah Heim postseason on that side, and Shohei on that side. Not bad, but going into the offseason, We will see what we get for the qualifying offers for Hunter Green, Gavin Williams, Freddie Fermin, and Nolan Shanuel. And if anything, we will either cut them, or if I am not unable to do that, we will trade them at the deadline for nothing, basically. We're just going to let them walk. After 2 wild card appearances to appease Jerry Reinsdorf, we now are finally within the constraints and rules of a draft-only rebuild. Yes, it took a long time. That's what it does generally, I feel like, when you see these, but we're also in a position where we have players that are in our system that are ready, and we've got players that are ready here, too. So, our pitching rotation, from now on, this is what we have. We've got Garrett Crochet, who was a first-round pick for them for the actual White Sox. Noah Schultz, another first-round pick for the actual White Sox. Castro, one of our picks in the first draft. Lance Glover, Huey Hill, all draft picks by us. Jared Kelly, Jonathan Cannon, and Sean Burke were all draft picks by the White Sox. Cody Hoyer was an older pick by them, and then BJ Farmer and Ward Smith are 2 picks by us for the White Sox. We have some more guys in the minors that are on their way and ready, like Ryan Robles, but basically that is our rotation. And our lineup includes Freddie Glover. Sanguillen is going to come up now finally. We've got Jake Berger still, Luis Robert, and Eloy Jimenez. Gavin Sheets, who is playing first base but could also play left field, I believe. I still have to adjust this lineup because I really want to have Eduardo Herrera play more than Madrigal out of anybody. Jacob Gonzalez is up. I brought Jeff Pride up. He's the worst player in the lineup, but I needed a backup catcher. And Samuel Zavala is up. Andrew Vaughn is still here. So our lineup is ready. We still have guys in the minors who are kind of ready to come up. Now, we're a little farther away on a lot of these position players. I think Elliot Benson could come up right now, but I'm just going to hold off on him a little bit. Obviously, Yamaguchi could come up now. You've got Eckert, who could come up right now. Wolko, Sprinkle, Golski, a couple guys that could. But the hope is that this team now should actually perform quite successfully. They're young. They'll get draft picks. We got in our deals, we got our pick back for Gavin Williams, who signed with the Braves. Hunter Green declined the qualifying offer and then signed back with the Reds. And then we had to cut Freddie Fermin and Nolan Shanuel, so it was at least only a $44 million salary hit from those two. Actually, I think if you look at free agency, they're both still here because nobody signed them after I cut them. So hopefully I didn't ruin the careers of Nolan Shanuel and Freddie Fermin. Anyways, taking a look at this season, I think we're in a good position now. We've got we're back to this. We have high job security. The goal is to win the division, but I don't think we will this year. We might go for a wild card run this year. I think we've got the talent, but really now this core that we have is ready. I think we've got a team that is set. Some players that are really interesting, like Freddie, who I think is probably my favorite player so far in this, but Dave Dorman last year, man, that was a great pick. It looks like he doesn't have a lot of potential, so I don't think he's going to get that much better, but man, good defense, good contact. He's like my favorite type of player in this game. And so, yeah, hopefully this upcoming season, we'll make a wild card and be able to start contending as a full Chicago White Sox roster. Starting the 2030 draft, trying to get just some more major league ready talent in this draft. I actually found a good amount of guys who look like they could be very useful for us. And being a playoff team means we do have a little bit of a later pick. And this team's also like we're pretty like competitive right now. We're winning our division with this young core. I did also realize, so that if anybody wrote down a comment or anything and noticed, I did remember that Zavala was part of the Cease trade, so I traded Zavala for basically prospects just to fill up the minors so that I wouldn't have to keep signing deep potential guys. Anyways, looking at the draft, looks like our top pitcher prospect, or top pitcher available was is there, and I think that might just have to be the guy we take. Makes sense. He looks like a pretty good player, and sorry, in a interesting prospect. Now I'm also going to take some position players. We do have 4 second-round picks thanks to our Gold Glove from Freddie Glover and all of the other PPI stuff we've been getting. I do like a couple of these other position players. I'm a big fan of this guy, but I'm going to wait one more pick for him. And what we're going to do is we are going to take this second baseman, Ernest Mejia. And then hopefully that first baseman's still there, Bill Carlson. I like that he's already basically ready to come up. We will take the guy who looks like he's injured. Guy who looks like he's the closest would be this reliever. But I don't know. I might just take another position player here, Felipe Vasquez. Nope, we have another pick right here. And I think we'll take Josh Woodson. I will go through the rest and then I will show you our draft picks. Not necessarily a great draft. Stephen By ends up being a pretty good pitcher here, another A potential pitcher to add to the future. Ernest Mejia ends up being a pretty good prospect for the future at second base. And Carlson's already close, so he could come up and play, especially if we start to see some regression from Sheets and Vaughn. But honestly, we just went for guys who are closer to the majors, and I don't think that we did too bad, considering that, like, we could have done worse. And yeah. Whoa, okay. Generational talent there in right field for the Blue Jays. We are in first place in the AL Central. However, we did lose Luis Robert and Garrett Crochet for the season. So the question is, will they come back for the postseason? Maybe. And will we be able to keep up the top record in all of baseball this season with basically a team of rookies and young players? So we'll see. And that's a 99-63 season as we win our division, taking on the winner of the wild card playoffs. Honestly, this is a fantastic first season when you consider this is the first real season that we've had with this team. We get a Gold Glove from Dorman and Glover, and a Rookie of the Year from the other Glover, Lance Glover, as we take advantage of a fantastic young core. That's a horrible Rookie of the Year, but I'll take it from Lance Glover. Dorman with a Gold Glove. And, Colson was runner-up right there, too. Freddie Glover gets it. Berger right there gets an award. You've got, Herrera back up there. We honestly just, had great production from all of our young core this season. And you love to see fantastic production from a young team like we just got. Now, New York is stacked, so I can see that we might have some trouble there. I think they're ranked first in pitching and first in offense, so we might have some trouble. Actually, let's just take a look at the standings before we do this. 103 wins for the Yankees, so we were the second best team this year. But yeah, we had a very good season all around. Huey Hill with 309 in his second season. Schultz the 391 in his third season. Castro with a 478, not that great from him. What was his FIP though? 401. Yeah, still not that good. Lance Glover with a 521 Rookie of the Year. Robles was better. So Kelly in the bullpen. Our bullpen still needs work. Ward Smith was pretty good in the beginning of the year, but 48 saves, I'll take it. BJ Farmer still walks a lot of players, so it's kind of a little bit hard to judge where we're actually seeing talent on that side. Sean Burke, not very good. Quinn Cannon, not very good. So some of our bullpen arms still need work, but we're just kind of waiting on these guys to come up. And we still got Marshall Alford coming next season. And so I'm glad that I moved all the other pitchers up because we have them all up here, but where does Alfred go? Is he the long reliever? Crochet's going to come back. We're starting to look at it does Crochet go into a bullpen situation, even though he's a Cy Young winner? We have about 7 good pitchers. That is, and I guess it's a good situation to be in, rather than having less than 7. In the offense, let's see who got sent down. Just Wolko, and that's it. So they brought up Deloge? I don't know who they brought up. Anyways, Madrigal didn't play this year. Gonzalez didn't really get enough of a sample size. Deloge, meh. Pride wasn't that good this season. So interesting backup catcher, but we will hope that one of the other guys that come up will end up being better than Pride. Andrew Vaughn, 256, and he's still getting on base a lot. So we're taking advantage of the $3 million a year we have for our 32-year-old first baseman. Now I'm afraid because of the 10 years of service time that he will start to regress, but hey, you know, because like Sheets over here is regressing after 9 years of service time. But that's also because he had a fantastic season. 371 on base percentage. I'll take that from him. Glover hit over 300 this year as he is starting to show his... Yeah, he's what I want. Leadoff hitter. He actually has more power than I was expecting to get, but he just gets on base a ton. 900. There, 6.5 WAR from him. Yeah, he's a stud. Herrera is more of that power hitting guy. He slugs a little bit better. 28 home runs, but still gets on base a lot. 800, and only a 2 WAR because he's not as good of a defensive player. Colson Montgomery out here with 33 home runs, hitting 298 as he finally finds himself at the top of our team with a long contract still in place. Luis Robert missed a large portion of this season with injuries and still hit 27 home runs in 94 games. So honestly, one of his best slugging seasons since 2027. And even put up 4.6 WAR in that and basically a half a season. Eloy, 29 home runs, just continuing to rack these up. Not as good as the 2028 season, but power hitting guy right here. He's one of the older guys in the team. He probably has about a year or two left of production. Sheets was good. Berger was really, really good here. 33 home runs from him, 300 average. Sanguien, not necessarily the greatest, but hey, he got a lot of hits and he gets on base a lot. And then Dorman, a little bit worse than he was last year, but also got to go glove defensively. So what's his WAR this year? 3.7 WAR from one of the best defensive catchers in all of baseball that also gets a lot of hits. I don't think I have to make any changes on either side. I'm hoping, let's look at the injured list quick. 1 day left, so we just need to get through. Oh no, we should be fine because he should be back before the wild card round is up. So let's advance a day. He's no longer and has come off the injured list. You can add him to the playoff roster. So what we're going to do is we are going to go to Crochet, add him to the playoff roster. What? I'm confused. Do I need the next round to be up to do this? All right, never mind. Looks like I can't get Garrett Crochet back. So I guess we will not have Crochet. That's kind of stupid that I can't bring him back. All right. First round here against Seattle. Huey Hill will start, then Schultz, then Castro. I honestly don't. I think they're all kind of all at the same level. Glover's just the worst pitcher, so I'm not really going to change anything. Oh, I should go quick. And this is why I don't understand. I'm going to go add one of the other relievers instead of having Hernandez up here. So that should be better for this playoff run. Okay. So game one, Huey Hill versus Logan Gilbert. That is a 5-8 loss. Huey Hill gives up a good amount of runs here in this game as we go down 0-1. Schultz versus Ashton Izzy. And we lose 4-5. That looks like we lost it in the end of in the 11th. So we went to extras. Our bullpen kind of let us down here. It looks like 9th and 11th giving up runs. Game 3, Adrian Castro versus Zach Gallen. And we lost Lou Bob, and we lost another playoff series. But hey, we won our division for the first time, and we advanced basically to the to the first round of the playoffs in 2030 in our first full season with only White Sox players. And next season, they're going to all be even better. So we will go off season. I'm just going to re-sign everybody, and I'll see you as we start the next season, just so you can see what I'm going to do with the rotation and pitching. Garrett Crochet is regressing, but he's still our best pitcher. And honestly, he's in a great position here with us, because if he regresses anymore and ends up being a guy who you're concerned about his, what he can do for you as a starter in the future, we have the guys. Glover can move over here and be a starter. He just won Rookie of the Year for us last season, and he could win, and he could be up there. And you've got a bullpen where I think I'm going to keep running with Ward Smith as our reliever over BJ Farmer. I just don't like the walks per 9. So we're basically keeping the same pitching staff. I'm just bringing up David Yan. Somehow that still considers him a rookie. But I think this pitching staff is phenomenal, and what's even better is the lineup. You have 5 all-stars like at the top of your lineup in Glover, Herrera, Montgomery, Berger. Actually, none of that pitching staff. We didn't have any pitching all-stars. So our lineup is full of all-stars: Glover, Herrera, Montgomery, Berger, Robert, and then you still have I think it's just stacked right now. Honestly, one of the things I was looking at is I'm gonna start losing some of these guys, because I'm not gonna have the 40 man in order to be able to do this in the options. We've got too good of a team. So this upcoming draft, I'm gonna continue. I think we might go for more of a stockpile approach too for this one. I'm just gonna go best player available. I'm not gonna go for guys who are ready, because we have guys who are ready, and so there's no prospects that we can bring in that are gonna be like, oh, we need them right now. No, I actually need to conserve players and just build our farm system back up. Not like our farm system is bad, but it no longer is as interesting as it used to be. Elliot Benson is now number 16, so I guess technically it still is very, very good, but no top 15 prospects anymore, and Gasper is almost there. So we will get into the season and see you at the draft. And it's 2031. I think this is the last draft that we will show, at least that we will do, because I also realized that my entire minors is now full too. So we have a ton of players. We are pretty much stacked full of guys, and because of that, I don't really think that we need to draft that well anymore. And we've drafted so well for so many years that this draft should hopefully replenish our farm system for this, for this season, and then we will have players to move on to. I found a good amount of interesting players. The question is which ones are still going to be available. So I don't want to take a closer, because I've taken so many of them, except for there's one that I saw that was pretty interesting. We got this guy who will be great to put into our farm for a while, as well as this Pinto guy and this guy. So a couple guys would be interesting to just kind of throw in the future as interesting players. We have 3 firsts this year, thanks to the awards that we got in the PPI picks last season. And so I think what we're going to do, picks wise here, is I think we're going to go with, it's a lot of guys I like in this draft. And then we're going to take one of these pitchers first, just because I think it's always good to just continue to stockpile pitchers. And so looking at them, I think this guy has the better stat block here. He did opt out, but whatever. We're going to take him. And now what we're going to do is we're going to go take that left fielder, because I don't want to lose him. So Jackie Coburn here is our second first rounder. And then we'll take Caballero too, because or Caraballo, sorry, my bad, I wasn't reading, as our next one. And now we have another left fielder. This is great to stack up our left field, I guess. And besides that, I will continue to just draft. I'll show you this last draft, and then we will basically see you at the end of the season. I think this is a good last draft to end off on. Got a 90, 93 potential, 95 potential, 96 potential, 95 potential. Like talking about trying to replenish our farm. Yeah, I think we've done it. And there are guys that are a little bit further away that aren't going to play for us for a while. I think every single one of these players, and we do have some guys that are a little closer, like Garabello and this and Hopkins. No, not really. But yeah, I think we drafted well here. I think we made the right decisions. We got guys that we can put into our farm and can hold on to for a while and don't have to worry about adding them to the 40-man or playing it anytime soon, which is very important because my 40-man is full. We are in the lead of the division and should hopefully win another division. Accidentally hit the button, but we won 102 games this season, going 102-60, and yeah, that gives us a division lead, division title, and the most wins in the entire major leagues this year. No awards from us this year, mainly because Riley Green hit 378 and 38 home runs. Crazy season from Riley Green. I just want to look at that. So 227 hits, 38 home runs, 378, 1-1. Oh my God, Riley Green is the GOAT. Oh. Okay. Anyways, did get the runner-up and third place in the Cy Young from Crochet and Noah Schultz. Nobody in the reliever of the year. Dorman gets a Gold Glove again, so back-to-back Gold Gloves for Dorman. Runner-up for Berger at third base this year. And nothing from Freddie this season. So Berger gets himself a Silver Slugger. Colson Montgomery runner-up in Silver Slugger. Freddie is the next runner-up in Silver Slugger there. So Dorman should get us another pick, PPI-wise, I believe. No, he does not. He does not count. Honestly, nobody did. Okay, so looking at our pitching rotate or league leaders first. I just did it again. It was probably a like strikeouts or something like that. Yeah, Crochet strikeouts beat out Detmers. Crochet is racking up strikeouts in the seasons that he's healthy, sadly. But 228 strikeouts this season gets him another runner-up for Cy Young. And once again, no all-star from him. Taking a look at our pitching rotation. 2.9, 2.61 from Schultz, who also just phenomenal. Huey Hill, 3.94. Robles, 3.36. Glover was pretty poor. This is the weak spot of the rotation right here with Glover and Castro. Bullpen was all right. The back end, or the important part, Farmer, Hoyer, who is also, I think I'm going to let walk here just because I have so many bullpen arms coming. And Smith were all really good. Smith is still our closer. 49 saves from him. He will continue to be our closer, even if Farmer does look like a better player. I just got to stay with a guy who doesn't really blow saves. So pitching has been phenomenal. Lineup-wise, I think they were a little bit worse this year. It's simply just kind of across the board, not necessarily like perfect season from us. Sanguien, 3-2. I don't know why he gets sent down. 2.63, 359 on base for him, and he gets sent down. I think that's the only guy on the top here. Only 30 at-bats, 23 at-bats, 95 at-bats. 281 for rookie Elliot Benson, who hit 278 this year. 356 on base. That's fantastic for him as a rookie to basically kind of platoon a little bit. I don't know if he was coming in with Eloy partially through the season, or if he was just our main bench bat this year. Freddie, 295, 21 home runs, 169 hits. Still getting on base a ton. This is your leadoff guy. This is your best player probably. 6-2 WAR. Montgomery with the 279 and 44 home runs. Jake Berger, 35 home runs. Lubob looks like he's going to start regressing here. 148 hits, 282, 24 home runs from him. Eloy didn't regress yet. 28 home runs from him. 344 on base percentage. Over 800 slugging. Herrera didn't have as good of a year as he did last year, but still got on base a lot with 72 walks. Bond, on base machine. Sheets, even more of an on base machine. man, I'm glad I signed both of these guys to long-term deals. And then Dorman had a down year here, not doing as well. So the catcher position is still a little bit of a struggle to decide. Dorman, I think, is still fantastic because of the defense he brings. But not the contact I want to see from him this year, and getting on base was a little bit worse. I don't think I have to make any changes. I think the only change I have to bring up is Sanguine. I don't think there was any pitchers or anything I had to move. Oh, Jan, 5-2-3. Okay, not necessarily great for Jan this year. But I think I'm gonna... No, we're gonna... An Escobedo, 3-2-1. I think what we're gonna do is we are gonna go one less pitcher. Oh no, because I have Eckert up here. So we will bring Sanguine up here, add to the playoff roster, and Eckert will go back down off the playoff roster. All right, I think that's good. The only thing then is that I will bring in Jan instead of Vesperis, who did not play this year. I just feel like that's more fair for a guy who actually played this season. Lineup wise, I think the only adjustment I have to make here is Sanguine, yep, who was cold at the end of the season, but whatever. Okay, so looking at the playoffs this season, we have the Boston Red Sox, who have the MVP on their roster this year. So we're going to go Crochet, Schultz, Huey Hill, and hopefully this season we can get ourselves through the first, oh my God, first round. Taking a look, I want to look at Boston's actual lineup here. So Boston is running with Steve Murillo. Don't really know about him. Dylan Carlson, Riley Green, who was a stud. Devers is still a stud. Roman Anthony, Nick York is up here. Marcelo Meyer, and Oscar Colas, who eventually it looks like he actually has developed enough to play baseball at the MLB level. The only other White Sox that basically is not on our team. Okay, so game one against Boston, Crochet versus Mlbtheshow. We're gonna sim through that one. 5-2 win for the White Sox. Taking game two, Schultz versus Luis Yeel. We take a loss as Adrian Castro comes in and absolutely gets annihilated, likely in the fifth here. Oh no, in the sixth is where he gave up all the runs. So not very good to see there. Huey Hill versus Trevor Rogers. Okay. 19 ERA as he gives up 4 runs in the first. Ryan Robles versus Tanner Houck. That's enough for a 4-0 shutout. For Lance Glover versus Luis Yeel. Do I want to do that? Not particularly. I think I'd rather go Crochet, but I think we're just going to go with it. I'm not going to mess with it. We will go Glover versus Yeel. And we lose that one 0-3. So I don't really blame him. He gave up 3 runs in the 6th, but we got no offense. So we lose to the Boston Red Sox in this round, and the Diamondbacks defeat the Red Sox in the 2031 World Series. Your World Series MVP is Drew Jones. Postseason MVP goes to Steve Murillo, and Corbin Carroll on the other side as the Diamondbacks win a World Series. And I will see you at the beginning of next season so that we can see what slight adjustments we are going to make to our rotation. I don't think I'm making anything to the lineup, though.
The 2032 roster is going to be a little bit cramped, I think. Pitching rotation, we're keeping exactly the same. And the lineup, I think the only thing I changed is I brought up Golsky and we let go of, I want to say, a couple guys like Kath and all that. Our 40-man is full, and the team is getting cramped because I've got guys in the minors, like right here, like Eckert and Yamaguchi, and who are definitely ready to be here. And even on the pitching staff, you've got Alford and Gaspard Ramirez, who are also all ready to be there. And Wooten as a closer and Vesperis as a reliever. So I think what we might do at the end of this season, if we don't end up winning our World Series right now, is there's a good chance we will probably let Madrigal go. I might let like Cannon or Kelly go, like actual White Sox, which I don't really want to let them go, but I might just have to, because I need these guys. I'm gonna need roster space here to keep some of these players that I think are very, very good. This is why one of the problems of drafting all the older players that I did was that eventually I was gonna have too many of them, and now I have too many of them. And it's, you stockpile talent. The Rule 5 draft exists so that you can't stockpile talent, but I just want to keep stockpiling talent. So anyways, I think this is a good shot. We will probably just see you at the end of the season, because I don't think I'm going to draft anymore. So, yeah. See you then. It's a 95-67 season as we win our division, taking on the winner of the wild card playoff game. I didn't see the production from the team that I would have liked to see. I feel like this is a 100-win caliber team, but we didn't win 100 games. So I don't necessarily know. It wasn't as good as we... Oh my God, Garrett Crochet won Cy Young. So, okay. Another Cy Young for Garrett Crochet, who, by the way, has regressed all the way down to a 79 overall. He is regressing and still winning Cy Youngs. And still only 2 All-Star appearances. 2-time All-Star Garrett Crochet. Well, I don't think I could have expected that. Or 2-time Cy Young winner, not All-Star. But also All-Star. I already forgot what I said. Anyways, looking at the rest of this team, I don't think, besides that Gold Glove, we got anything. And I did see, we're regressing from just about everything across the board. Just about every player played worse this year than they did last year. Crochet, Adrian Castro was all right. But yeah, we didn't have a really high hit number. Not a lot of guys getting a lot of averages. As you can see, we no longer have any top home run hitters. So, not necessarily a fantastic season from us here. Who'd they send down? Just Escobedo, and they brought up. Okay. Anyways, Ryan Robles, not necessarily that great. 5.02 ERA, 1.45 WHIP, with a 4.27 FIP from him. Kelly 3.2. Man, this is why I was saying, like, do I send these guys down? But they're so consistent. Jared Kelly has been very, very consistent as like a 3.2 ERA reliever. Jonathan Cannon has been pretty consistent. David Yan was not good, but I don't think you can really get rid of him. BJ Farmer 3.4, and Ward Smith has been fantastic as the closer. He's just going to keep that role because he's getting better every season. Crochet with another Cy Young. Noah Schultz with a little bit of a regression this season, but Huey Hill took his spot, getting himself up to a 3.44 ERA. Lance Glover back up to now a 3.94 after winning the Rookie of the Year a little while ago. Yeah, this pitching rotation is starting to look real disgusting. Lineup wise, who'd they send down? Golski, never played. Madrigal, who will be done for us. All right, and that's it, looks like. So, lineup wise, to the MLB lineup. That is Jacob Gonzalez, only 54 at bats, only 111 from Pride. 269 average, 352 on base percentage for Elliot Benson, who will probably take the left field spot from Eloy Jimenez next season. Simply just because I think we need him to be out there. And yeah, a good season from Elliot Benson as a bench slash platoon guy. Freddie Glover, 146 hits. He's our leadoff guy, but a little bit worse season this year from him than he was the last 2 years where he was hitting near 300. He's still getting on base, so he's still walking a lot, but I want to see this, not this. Colson Montgomery, 30 home runs, 273 average from him. Once again, he's kind of at his peak right now. I don't necessarily know what else we're going to see from him. Berger, this is his last year with us, hitting 21 home runs. Lou Bob with 28 home runs, 274 average. Eloy with another 30 home run season. Like, he's still slugging well, but I just need to make room for everybody else, and I don't know if he's going to be the guy that can stay. I will try to keep Eloy, but I don't necessarily think he will be able to stay. Herrera, 21 home runs, 256, so he's still down from where he was here. He's just walking more, which is okay. And his potential went up to A. Sweet. Sanguien, 287. It had just kind of a hits machine here. Almost a 400 on base percentage. He's got to be in the lineup next year. Sheets, 359 on base. This is where it sucks. Like, Sheets has been fantastic at getting on base, but I don't necessarily know if we can keep him around. And Dorman just got worse. Is getting worse every season. Like, it's kind of, I'm not liking that, especially when Pride's not necessarily getting better. So lineup wise, oh, I also did notice Andrew Vaughn got sent down. Vaughn, 346 on base percentage with 18 home runs. So okay. Anyways, we will take on the winner of Houston, Minnesota. Let me readjust our lineup and rotation to make sure I've got the right guys in it, and then we will hopefully finally win a playoff series. The Minnesota Twins are a pretty old team, it looks like. I mean, pretty much everybody is in their late or in their 30s in their lineup. And I'm hoping that we aren't going to get, absolutely demolished as our pitching staff ends up getting, ran over again. Which sucks because our pitching staff is actually pretty good right now. So we have Minnesota in the first round. We're going to go Crochet, Cy Young winner. I know he's technically our lowest overall pitcher, but he's just got to stay because he's getting Cy Young still. So first game, Crochet versus Enrique Jimenez. The White Sox defeat the Twins 6-0 with a complete game shutout for Garrett Crochet. So glad we kept the Cy Young winner starting. Noah Schultz versus Taj Bradley. We win 15-7. The offense shows up again. And Huey Hill versus Pedro Alfonso. We lose that one 6-8, as looks like Huey gave up a good amount of runs in the beginning of the game. And Lance Glover versus Omar Mascara, or whatever. Yeah, Mascara. And we win that, winning a playoff series for the first time. That puts us against Boston, the team that we played last year and lost to because they still have the Riley Green, the menace of Riley Green on this team. I think what we're going to do is we're going to probably switch this back to Crochet over... you know what? Our pitching staff's too good. I'm not even going to mess with it. I really shouldn't mess with it. Because I don't want to go out and then all of a sudden make a mistake and you can say I caused us to lose. So we will go Castro versus Trevor Rogers in game 1. We lose 5-6. Ward Smith blew that game, it looks like, in the 10th. So that sucks. Our stud all-star closer blows the game in the 10th. Crochet versus Louis Seal. 5-2 win for Crochet. Noah Schultz versus Elvin Aseo. That's an 11-2 win. So we are up 2-1 in this series. That gives us Huey Hill versus Shane Baz, who... oh my god, Huey Hill. Lance Glover in this 2-2 series versus Trevor Rogers. We lose that one 5-6 as Jonathan Cannon gives up the runs. We are now down 3-2. Adrian Castro versus Louis Seal. And that's a 3-8 loss. The Red Sox defeat the White Sox in 6 games. And the Giants go on to defeat the Red Sox in the World Series. So I'm going to have to make a few adjustments to this lineup for this postseason, or for next season, because we are full on our 40-man, and I've got guys that need to be put on that 40-man pretty soon here. So we'll make some adjustments. Madrigal will be gone. Berger will be gone. I think Vaughn and Sheets are on their last limbs. So there's a couple guys that we'll figure out what we can do, how we can finagle the roster to make it work. But we just got guys that need to be up at the majors now. Starting the 2033 season, we are in basically, this is year 9 now for us, technically. As the GM, or wait, no, 24. No, this is year 10. This is year 10, then technically. 24 through 27, that's 3, yeah. It's 4 years. 28 is 5, 29 is 6, 30, 7, 31 is 8. Yeah, this is year 10. Year 10 is a GM for us here at the White Sox. I'm hoping that we can win our World Series now, simply just because I'm running out of room on our team, and We haven't been super competitive. Honestly, I don't know how well of a success you can call this. We've built a fantastic roster. Pitching rotation wise, Crochet is still going to be here starting simply because he just won Cy Young. I can't move him to the bullpen yet, even though Ryan Robles is an 89. And even in the minors, look, we've got Alfred, Gasper, and Ramirez, and Montana, and Wooten. Like, this team is stacked. This team is stacked of talent. Lineup wise, let Madrigal go. I moved Sheets down in the minors because I wanted to get Yamaguchi up to play. Eckert is still going to be a bench guy despite being an 85 overall. Gonzalez is an 85 overall playing on the bench. And Elliot Benson's still platooning with Eloy because Eloy hit so well against righties last year that I can't really afford to put Eloy on the bench yet. So, yeah. I hope this season can just be productive. We can just win now, and we can win over 100 games and put together our best roster. But if I have to go 11 seasons, I have to go 11 seasons. Preferably, let's win this in 10. A no-hitter bid for Lance Glover. One batter left. Jose Valentine, guy hitting below the Mendoza line. Or Glover. And the question is, can we get ourselves a no-hitter? He's pitched 111 pitches. At least we're not going for a perfect game, so he could pitch around him if he needs to, but this is also one of the worst hitters in all of baseball, so if he needs to pitch around him, I'd be concerned. That's a 1-1 count for Lance Glover.
You know, he's been so great today, really just throwing whatever the catcher puts down.
Ooh, swinging strike. 1-2 count for Lance Glover. Can he pull this off and get himself a no-hitter?
A chance for the no-no right here.
Let's go. Drops the 12-6 curve in, gets himself a no-hitter. Lance Glover, your newest member of the no-hit club. I believe White Sox, in White Sox history, there's several no-hitters. The question is how many? I haven't looked this up, so I'm looking it up right now. Because the White Sox have existed for a long time, so they have 6 no-hitters? No, they've got a lot more than that. They have 20. So this is 21, number 21 for the White Sox. As Lance Glover ends with a no-hitter, pitching and getting 15 strikeouts. So one of the most, like, I guess, K-heavy no-hitters. Actually, it is technically. Lucas Giolito threw 13 in 2020s, which was the most strikeouts in their history, and now Lance Glover has taken that from him in 2033. 105-57, and we win our division once again, going on to take the winner of the wild card. This is our best season yet. This is our best team yet. No award winners this season, but we did have Robles and Lance Glover getting runners up in the Cy Young, so I'm not like too upset by that. Fantastic, I guess, for them to be that close. And we didn't get any gold gloves either, or silver sluggers, so the team was kind of more of an all-around team here this season. Good pitching from Robles this year, who ended up taking probably being our best pitcher now. Crochet really regressed hard into the bullpen this season, so safe to say I think that it's probably about the end. I should go to rotation for Crochet, who's already down to a 73 the season after he won the Cy Young too, which is, it's sad to see that regression hit him that hard. We still have 2 more years on his deal, but I don't know if he's really got much of a shot. They sent him down to the minors already. I'm going to bring him up because he does perform to the playoffs, but yeah, not very good from him this past season. Rafael Hernandez was up this season and had a 3.66 1-3 whip. Pretty good season from him in a long relief role. In the actual MLB, Gasper and Ramirez still haven't played yet. They are going to be 85s and 86s when they come up next season, because I think, oh no, they still don't have to come up. Oh, Gasper does. So Gasper will come up next year. I'm gonna have to find a way to make room for them, because yeah, we need room for all of these guys. Ward Smith in the bullpen had 41 saves again. Another great year from him. He's getting a little worse though than he was last season, but still pretty good from him. BJ Farmer was insane this year in his setup role. He finally stopped walking guys as much as he had been in the previous seasons. And yeah, I think maybe he takes the closer role from Ward Smith, who has been good, but man, Farmer is just something else. Our bullpen has been phenomenal. Kelly and Jonathan Cannon are still really, really good here. I can't believe these two haven't regressed. You know, everybody else has. These two have not. In the starting rotation, Robles with the 2.95 ERA. Schultz was probably our worst starter, it looks like. So, yeah, our draft picks have been great. Castro, Glover, Huey, Hill. Just, you know, phenomenal pitching from our entire rotation. Lineup-wise, let's just see who they sent down first. Andrew Vaughn. Still at a 314 on-base percentage. Can't be that mad at that. And they sent down... Well, that's it. So, at the major league level, Yamaguchi was not very good in his rookie season. Hit 213. He had 230 at-bats. Wasn't really providing me a lot of confidence with him. Dorman did get back up to a 261 average. However, he kind of lost his role as a starting catcher because of last season. And Jeff Pride probably deserves it at this point. Elliot Benson, 272, still platooning with Eloy Jimenez, hitting only lefties. Though I do think he could be a starter next season, as he has gotten his on base to 330. He's a pretty well-rounded guy. Freddie Glover, 281, 20 home runs, 358 on base percentage. He is regressing already because he's 30. It's taken that long for us. Colson Montgomery is 263, 358 on base percentage, 26 home runs. Sanguien, 279. Lubab is 256, 24. I signed him to a 2-year extension, just wanting to keep him around for the end of this. Eloy, in probably his last season, still hits 30 home runs for us. I'm going to be done with him. I just don't have room for him on the roster. Golski, pretty good in basically his first season here as a rookie, hitting 273. The problem is he didn't get the eligibility because he was on the roster all last season, and he had to be because they didn't have any options. But that's rookie of the year caliber right there from Golski. Herrera, 283, 23 home runs. Gonzalez, 254 and 276, 345 on base percentage for Jeff Pride, who I think has taken the starting catching role away from Dave Dorman, who will just be our backup catcher for now, unless Jamie Lugo's got to come up. Well, Jamie Lugo does have to come up here. He is eligible for the Rule 5, so I think he's got to come up this next season. So I'm going to adjust the pitching rotation, get Crochet back up here, and then hopefully we can just be in a good position and just go win a World Series, right? Right? Please don't let Boston beat us again. Okay, I do this a lot. I accidentally pressed triangle on this. I just simmed it for the first game, so of the series against the Tampa Bay Rays, and we lose game 1 of that, sadly, losing in the end. So we are down 0-1 to the Tampa Bay Rays. Game 2, we have the Nathan Wiles versus Adrian Castro. We win that one 6-2. Game 3, Huey Hill versus Daryl Newcomb. I don't care about Eckert. Come on. And we lose that one 5-4. Jonathan Cannon having 2 losses this season. Lance Glover versus Bryant Reed. We win that one. In Game 5, Noah Schultz versus Sandy Alcantara. Please get us this run. Jeff Pride. The White Sox have been eliminated. That's a rough one to lose. So year 10 is another loss for us. 2034, year 11 for us now. Say goodbye to Garrett Crochet, who I don't want to have to... I'm keeping him on the 40-man because if we make the playoffs, I want to bring him up for the playoffs. If he deserves it. If he's not like a 65 by then. He might be with how quickly he's regressing. We've got Gomes and Wooten who are ready. Elford is ready. This team is just running out of roster space for a lot of these guys. Schultz might just have to go soon, just simply because of that. Or one of these bullpen arms who have been really, really good. I think Cannon's probably going to be gone here at the end of this season simply because I just need more space. But Gasper's going to start this year. This is his rookie season. And then Ramirez is going to be a long reliever. in order to try to make up for that. In the lineup, Eloy Jimenez is gone. He's down in the minors now for us. And then Andrew Vaughn is gone. The only one I'm bringing up is Miguel Ferreira, who's out of options. And hopefully this team is enough. I mean, that's a lot of 80s. Like, it's going to be really hard to convince me this team is not enough to get 100 wins and get ourselves even to the World Series. Can we win an AL pennant? And we put together our best season yet, going 113-49, winning our division. And hopefully this is actually a season where we can make a good playoff run. Delivery Man of the Year, Ward Smith wins the Reliever of the Year award, and Cy Young goes to Adrian Castro, with Lance Glover also being the runner-up. So our pitching staff has been great. We considered moving on and switching relievers to somebody else, but Ward Smith kept the role and honestly deserves to keep it. I signed him to an extension for basically the rest of his career. He has been phenomenal here and deserves to stay. Hank Aaron, Colson Montgomery was third in that race, Gold Glove, and no other Silver Sluggers. No, Freddie Glover got a Silver Slugger in the outfield. League leaders, Huey Hill, ERA, Huey Hill winning percentage, Adrian Castro wins. I think that's where the problem is. I think that Cy Young's come from wins in this game because we've seen this happen a couple times now where, oh wow, 219 hits. Okay. We've seen this happen now a couple times in these rebuilds where I feel like the guy who leads the league in ERA, Huey Hill, 14-5, 277, 197 strikeouts, 5 WAR, not necessarily as good as 315, 19 wins, 219 strikeouts. Maybe Castro does deserve it, but I feel like Huey Hill and Gasper were honestly, oh my God, Gasper, rookie season. He didn't win Rookie of the Year? Who won Rookie of the Year? Okay, a hitter who had 26 home runs. Okay, I was just gonna say a 2.95 ERA as a rookie starter. That's crazy. To get a good for your first season in baseball. Anyways, taking a look at our team, Jasper Becerras wasn't very good up at the majors, so he will probably stay down here at this point. Crochet, I don't think I'm gonna bring up, but I just want to keep him on the roster. We'll just say that he can get a ring if he was there, if we win this one this year. So taking a look at our actual lineup: 4-4, 3-4, 3-1, 2-7-7, 4-3, 2-9-5, 1-3 from Jared Kelly, 1-7 from Jonathan Cannon. Gomes didn't pitch. 1-8 from Farmer. This pitching rotation is nasty. All right, who did they send down here? He had a 429 on base percentage, and they sent him down. Yamaguchi has not been very good. 302 didn't really look that impressive, so makes sense that he got sent down. But let's take a look at the actual lineup here. Dorman hit 265 in his bench catcher role, 344 on base, and still one of the best defensive catchers, so phenomenal for a backup catcher. Jacob Gonzalez at 253. They brought Vaughn back up. Oh, I suppose I don't have a first baseman. Elliot Benson hit 280 in his first season playing full at left field. Hit 26 home runs, 349 on base. Sanguien, 295 average. He had 186 hits in that second spot. Herrera, down year for him, hitting 235 and 25 home runs. Not necessarily what you want to see there. Lou Bob, 33 home runs. Freddie Glover with 27 home runs, finding some power in his bat. 173, so he's not what he was here. 2030 and 2031 were his best seasons, and he's still good. He got a Silver Slugger this year, but that's just because the power is starting to come now for Freddie. Colson Montgomery, 305, 31 home runs. Pride, 283, 348. I signed him to an extension because catchers are hard to come by. 274 for Golsky and 243 for Eckert. This, if this team doesn't win a World Series, I don't know who would win a World Series. So let me go in. I'll adjust our rotation, and we will play the winner of Kansas City and Houston. And hopefully, there's no Boston in our way. So hopefully, this is our actual real shot here.
For the first round of the playoffs, we are going against the Kansas City Royals, our division rival. Please let year 11 be the season we finally make ourselves to the World Series. Ryan Robles versus Leandro Lantigua is a 2-4 loss for Robles, who gives up all the runs in the beginning of the game. Castro versus Barney Wild is a 7-3 win. Huey Hill versus Chase Dolander in Game 3 is a 4-1 lead. And then Robert Gasper, our rookie, versus Jairo Iriarte in Game 4 is a 5-2 win. We will be taking on the Athletics in the ALCS. Yes. Aaron Fullilove was one of those pitchers who I remember scouting. I remember scouting him. Let's take a look at the Athletics roster quick. Talk about a powerhouse of players right here. The A's are really, really, really good. You've got Jackson Churio in the lineup, former, I believe, MVP. No MVPs for Churio. Gary McNeil, who looks like he's pretty good. You've got Capiello, who is the MVP of this season specifically. Home run champion, Hank Aaron, Silver Slugger, Rookie of the Year in 2032. This guy is a beast. I think this was a generational talent they drafted with like the first pick or something like that. They've got Gunnar, who also no MVPs for him, but I know he was runner-up a lot in the AL. They have Royce Lewis, who's really good. Parada. They still have Jacob Wilson. Their pitching staff is the Aaron Fullilove guy, who I remember scouting, but was unable to get. And then I think they've got Maddox Bruns has been no reliever of the year, but I see him in the reliever of the year race every season. They've got a very, very, very good team here. So we are going to go against them. Let me make sure, because I think I want Robles to pitch Game 1. Even though I know he got lit up. I want Robles in Game 1, Castro in Game 2. I'd rather just have Glover at the end here. Really, I should have Huey Hill pitch Game 1, but I think we'll just go with that. You notice I brought Crochet in here because you got to have Garrett Crochet. So let's go take a look quick, or let's go get ourselves ready for Game 1. So we have Robles versus Fullilove here in Game 1, 9-8 win. Thank you, Jared Kelly, for getting that win there. Castro versus Eric Blair in Game 2, 11-3 victory here. Game 3, Huey Hill versus Bob Dorman, 6-1 victory. We are up 3-0. Robert Gasper versus Gene Fox. I don't think we're gonna win that one. Nope, we lost that one, 7-8. Lance Glover versus Aaron Fullilove, 6-15. Okay. Ryan Robles versus Eric Blair. Okay, we win that one, and we will be taking on the Mets in the World Series. The Mets, baby. Love the Mets. Okay. Let's go take a look at the Mets roster. Now, it's important to note, the NL has been dominating for the last several years because the Red Sox keep going to the World Series and losing every year. But I think that we might actually have a better team than this team. Now, I don't want to get too up about it, but like that, their offense has not been very good. Raul Del Villar and Luis Angel or Acuna are their best guys there. And pitching, I don't see anything super special. Honestly, if we lose this, that's kind of embarrassing. So, Game 1, Castro. I'm not going to have Robles go up there. We're going to go Castro versus Wills and then Huey Hill versus Roby. So Game 1, Castro wins 5-1 in Game 1. Game 2, Huey Hill versus Tekoa Roby. It's a 1-4 loss. Game 3, Gasper versus Mackenzie Edom. It's a 4-1 victory. Lance Glover, who got lit up in his first playoff game against Thomas Harrington. And we win that one 9-5. So Game 5, we will have Robles pitch. I'm going to play this next game. We are going to quick manage here. And hopefully we can just pull this off. I would rather not. Oh my God, Huey Hill is so good. I'd rather not have to go another game here. This has already gone 11 seasons. So bases loaded already for Luis Robert, who gets 3 runs right there. Okay, that's a great start. You know what? A great start. 4-0 in the first. Okay, come on, Robles. Come on, Robles. Come on, Robles. Robles does not inspire confidence at all. For technically being our best pitcher, he frustrates me. Okay, 5-2 in the fourth.
Now pitching for the Mets, number 6, Ward.
And I think I'm going to have that be it for Robles. I just have a lot of bullpen arms that I have faith in. We will go... I think we will go Kelly here.
Now pitching for the White Sox,
To get through that inning, sweet. We are still up 5-2.
Kelly.
Man on first and second. Bases loaded for Jeff Pride. Fielder's choice gets us out of that one. All right. Pitching change again. We will go in the bottom of the 7th. I think we will just go with Ramirez this inning. Who gets through that inning? And now we have bottom of the 8th. We will make a pitching change and we will go to Farmer. Who walks a lot of guys there, but we still get through it. Top of the 9th. Herrera, Robert, and Glover all strike out. And we are going to go to Ward Smith, the reliever of the year. And we will strike out, pop up, and enter the game here with 1 out left. Up 5-2 in Game 5 of the 2034 World Series. And we will watch as Ward Smith will hopefully lead us to the promised land, taking on Carson Williams, dropping us a curve down for an 0-1 count that gets fouled off by Carson Williams.
2 outs. And a foul ball.
Foul ball, 0-2 count now for Carson Williams against Ward Smith.
Is just 1 strike away.
He drops a curve real high. Let's see if we can get him to swing outside. 1-2 count in Game 6 of the 2034 World Series.
Game 5 of the World Series.
And that ball gets out to the outfield to Luis Robert. And now they have a man on first for Ward Smith to continue here against Johnny Rivera. So man on first, 2 outs, bottom of the 9th. Ward Smith pitches. Doing a fastball inside to get a 0-1 count.
And a pitch. Soft contact in the
And
air.
that's an out.
And that's
Little
it.
soft
They are World
blooper
Series
there to third.
champions.
And the Chicago White Sox win the 2034 World Series. We are the champions. Garrett Crochet is a World Series champion. Colson Montgomery is a World Series champion. Luis Robert is a World Series champion. We have done it. Winning the World Series in 2034. Did it take too long? Yes. Yes, it did. I know it did. But we are there. The White Sox have won the World Series. Your World Series MVP is Tom Golsky, who got the catch at the end of that game 2, and your playoff MVP is Freddie Glover, who had 20 RBIs in the playoffs. I mean, we just had fantastic offense all the way around. And yeah, we have finally done it. That is it. Draft only rebuild. Every single player that we had on this roster was drafted by the White Sox. Every single player in our farm system was drafted by the White Sox. And yeah, it took till 2034. We had a hiccup there in 2027 where it looked a little rough and I had to contend when I didn't want to contend. And we also, I mean, this just took a while. I hope, like, also for White Sox fans, seeing the guys that you had, like Herrera and Montgomery and Eloy and Robert being contenders and getting Garrett Crochet, 2 Cy Youngs. Hope that you enjoyed that style of this. It did kind of make this take a lot longer because I actually had to manage those guys. And so it might have felt a little bit different than many other draft rebuilds where you just see draft against and just see how those guys perform. So I hope that this was kind of an enjoyable, different way to take one of these draft only rebuilds. This will probably be, I don't know if I'll get this up tonight, but this will be one of one of the videos that's going to take a little bit of a break before I have another one, because the other one I was recording simultaneously with this one was the Cubs build, which at the time that I'm recording this, Ant Ortiz just uploaded a Cubs rebuild with the exact same parameters that I had already started, so I think that one will go to the back burner on that. Anyways, I want to thank everybody so much for coming and watching, enjoying this Chicago White Sox draft only rebuild. It was a mess. We did not win. This was I honestly don't even think you can call this a success, but I do feel like you got to win a World Series to consider a rebuild complete. And we won one. It just took 11 years to get there. So, yeah. Is this a success? I don't know. Do they have one of the best teams assembled? Yeah. So, I just want to thank you all so much for watching, for supporting the channel. And we'll see what we have in store next here on Big Irrelevant. And all my MLB rebuilds and everything else. Adios.
Jig is up.